Ticats is one of the CFL's ageless wonders.
Earl Winfield looks deep to Winfield. He's behind the cover. Calvillo going to the end zone. Winfield touched it. Calvillo on first down. Looks to Earl Winfield.
Tonight, the 34-year-old and his Hamilton Tiger-Cats take on the San Antonio Texans. The man who will try to get the ball to Winfield will be Steve Taylor, currently the Ticats' #1 quarterback. But if Taylor falters, Anthony Calvillo will be quick to enter the fray. He was last week's hero, leading the Ticats to a come-from-behind win over the Shreveport Pirates. San Antonio will counter with its top quarterback, David Archer. He's been nursing a sore hamstring, but he is ready to go. Helping him out will be one of the CFL's best backfields, running back Mike Saunders, and the team's leading rusher from last year, Troy Mills.
CFL Live. Tonight's game from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. The San Antonio Texans versus the Hamilton Tiger-Cats.
Good evening and welcome to the CFL Live on TSN. I'm Darren Detishin. Glad you tuned in for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats and the San Antonio Texans. You know, it is without a doubt one of the most exciting places in the CFL to watch a football game. Ivor Wynne has been a buzz this season as football is once again fun in Steeltown. One of the big reasons why? Linebacker Michael O'Shea. He loves to talk about team toughness and intensity, and he is all of that. The second leading tackler in the CFL with 46, O'Shea gets the pleasurable task of trying to run down Mike Saunders. Saunders is one of the best backs in the league with 616 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. Tonight, the two shall clash. Now for their thoughts on the game, let's go to John Wells and Leif Pettersson, who are standing by at Ivor Wynne, and what's going to be a great night for football.
Darren, it's great to see David Archer back in the lineup for the Texans. He has taken more hits in 3 seasons in this league than most quarterbacks would deserve over a much longer career.
You know what, John? He really has. But the good news is his offensive line in 1995 has played a lot better. They've only given up 18 sacks in 8 games, and that is a huge improvement and one of the main reasons why this team is playing better.
And Archer certainly complicates things for the Hamilton Tiger-Cat defense when you look at things here tonight.
John, this is really an ironic situation. You know, for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats on defense tonight, what they really want to do, the focal point will be to stop Mike Saunders and force David Archer to beat them with the pass. Now, this guy's thrown for 6,000 yards, only one of 3 quarterbacks to do it. So I find this really ironic that they want him to throw the football tonight.
Be a pretty good test for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats, Darren, who go after their 3rd straight victory.
Thanks very much, gentlemen. Just last week, the Memphis Mad Dogs, without Damon Allen and downtown Eddie Brown, shocked the Baltimore Stallions. Tonight, it is indeed the rematch. Baltimore goes into the game at 5-3. They are coming off back-to-back losses, while the Dogs are 4-4. On now to our game story, and there really are some interesting matchups in this one. Most notable, David Archer. He's not played the past 2 games because of a bad hamstring. He starts tonight for the Texans. Troy Mills, last year's leading rusher when the team was in Sacramento, returns after being cut by the Arizona Cardinals. Donnie Southern, he loves Steve Taylor's mobility. That's why he starts tonight. And Earl Winfield, what a season he is having again. Time now for some football. Let's go back to Ivor Wynne to John and Lee.
All right, Darren, and almost a perfect night for this first meeting between the Texans and the Ticats here at Ivor Wynne. Set to kick it off, Roman Anderson for San Antonio. And 2 deep for the Tiger-Cats, Sam Rogers and Greg Lane. This is Sam Rogers beginning inside his 20 and out near the 31-yard line. Tonight's starting lineup brought to you by Mr. Sub. Fresh thinking is what we are. The Hamilton offense led by Steve Taylor, making his third straight start for the Cats. He didn't get a win last week, but kept it close for a fourth quarter comeback. Dale Sanderson in his 11th season anchors the Hamilton offensive line. Larry Thompson makes his second start at wide receiver opposite the great veteran Earl Winfield. And the running back of note, Kalen Hall, 661 all-purpose yards for the Tiger Cats. 1st and 10, Hamilton beginning at the 31 from the shotgun. Taylor looks to put it up in a hurry. He has Manny Hazard on the far side, and Hazard is out near the 40. Most of the way to a first down. San Antonio defense is finally healthy. A good pass rush with Fears and Bethune in the middle up front. Dave Harper with 4 sacks leads the linebacking corps, and the secondary has been playing pretty well with Humphrey and Frank on the corners.
One thing you like about this defense is number 45, Tom Gerhardt, is originally a middle safety, and he's now beefed up a little bit and playing that linebacker. And what that allows the San Antonio defense to do is teams are going to that 5-pack offense. Gerhardt can cover the number 3 receiver, a back or a receiver, because of that defensive back experience. There he is.
Good production for the Tiger Cats on first down, making this 2nd and 1, and Derek McAdoo gets the call. McAdoo stopped near the 41. It'll be interesting to see where they spot the ball. Collins was in on the tackle. Kay Stevenson in his 3rd year in the Canadian Football League is head coach of the San Antonio Texans this year. Seems to like life in Texas a little better than he did in California.
Well, Kay, you know, kind of slow to adapt to CFL offenses. I mean, his offense this year is more wide open than it was in the past. He's gone to 5-pack and, you know, showing a lot more diversity than he did a year ago and before that.
Ticats do come up short. This is a gamble early in the game. 3rd down, about a yard to go. And no problem for McAdoo this time as he's up near the 45.
First down, Tiger Cats.
Well, you know, when you're done
the previous play, but he gets it there, Lever. Sorry.
Now, when you're Don Southern, you know, this isn't much of a gamble. They only one time on all their giveaways this year have they done it on down. So when he comes to these 3rd down situations, he has a tremendous amount of confidence that his offense will pick it up, and they pick that one up easily.
Ticats out near the 45, 1st and 10. We're early in the opening quarter at Ivor, Wynne, and Hamilton. Taylor from the shotgun has time and goes over the middle for Lee Knights. Knights stopped at the 49. Don Southern took over the Hamilton Tiger Cats as head coach about a year ago. It was back on August the 12th, 1994, when Southern became the head coach after John Gregory was relieved of his duties.
And you look at one major thing that he has done to this football team, and it's discipline. This is a much better disciplined team than it has been in the past, and that, of course, is Don Southern's trademark.
This is 2nd and 5, a bit of a rush on Taylor away from the first wave. Taylor likes to run, and he'll be very close to the first down at the 55. Leonard Nelson over to make the tackle, number 90. He had 7 starts for the Sacramento Goldmenners in '94.
John, when you look at this Hamilton offense, and what does Anthony Calvillo, the quarterback, give, and what does Steve Taylor give to this offense? This is a tremendous graphic to illustrate the difference. And keep in mind, Steve Taylor's rushing totals there of 167 yards have only come in the 3 games that he has played. Calvillo, 8 carries, 6 yards. So when you talk about extra dimensions that a quarterback can give a team, Steve Taylor in a short period of time has become their 2nd leading rusher and a great contributor in that department.
And he was the leading rusher last week for the Tiger Cats. He had just enough for the first down, just shy of midfield. Calvillo on the sidelines. And we will see him in action tonight, I'm pretty sure. Don Southern said he will take the opportunity to use both quarterbacks. 1st and 10, Ticats. Taylor from the shotgun to the far side. He has his man. Good yardage for Larry Thompson. Thompson tough to bring down. He gets inside the 30. Grady Candace in on the tackle. And Larry Thompson has 25 yards.
And the key on the wide receiver screen is to get the block at the point of attack. Watch the left guard, Blaine Schmidt, 66. Here he comes. Thompson's waiting for that block. There he gets it from Blaine Schmidt. and he's off and running, and that's a beautifully designed play. But if you get that first block, good things can happen. This is a nice opening drive.
Excellent drive for the Tiger Cats, set up now at the Texans 30. A little fake to Caitlin Hall. Taylor buys some time and looks deep. No, not twice. There's a marker down in the end zone. Frank was covering on Richard Nurse.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about this one. Malcolm Frank knew that he was in huge trouble. Richard Nurse snuck in behind, and for Don Ellis and his crew, pretty easy call to make.
Intentional forward pass interference. San Antonio number 10. First down on the 1-yard line.
One more look.
Well, here's Malcolm Frank on the corner. He's trying to get back and help out Charles Frank, the middle safety. Zone coverage, and he's got that deep third. Nurse gets in behind, and there you see the total intent to make sure that Nurse doesn't catch it. Hey, that's the easiest call they're going to have to make tonight.
And it sets the Tiger Cats up at the 1-yard line.
Well, Sacramento is that's the least penalized team in the CFL, but Malcolm Frank had no choice but to do that.
Ticats first and goal to go at the Texans 1. Taylor. And no signal down there from any of the officials. Difficult to see. It was Nelson on the tackle, number 90.
You know, Wellesley, I just referred to San Antonio as Sacramento. This is going to be a tough one for him. It's the first time you and I have seen San Antonio this year, and I still think of them as the Sacramento Gold Miners.
Well, their history is in Sacramento, and when we refer to the number of years of CFL experience and players who were with this team last year, they were with the team, but in Sacramento. Ticats second and goal from the 1 now. A marker down as McAdoo goes over the top for the touchdown. We'll check out the infraction.
Offside. San Antonio number 58. Penalty is declined. Touchdown score.
A penalty got the Ticats down to the 1-yard line. But Taylor engineered a solid drive from back in his own zone. And here's McAdoo up and over the top.
Yeah, that's his first rushing touchdown of the year, too. And he's going to be their short yardage back. It's a good system. He's a little more powerful than Caitlin Hall. He gets a good block from lead Knight, his fullback, and Derek McAdoo. Although that's only his first touchdown this year, he's going to carry most of the load in the short yardage situations.
Osbaldiston makes it 7-0 Tiger Cats. 9:19 to go in the opening quarter. McAdoo into the end zone from a yard away.
Spicy, crispy, curly, thrilling. McCain Super Spirals. We love what you've done to our fries. You've spiced them up, curled them up, and turned them all around.
McCain has taken its famous super fries, dipped them in light-tasting batter, and surrounded them with bite after bite of spicy, crispy satisfaction.
You've spiced them up, curled them up, and turned them all around. McCain Super Spirals. Whoa! We love what you've done to our fries.
Would you believe it if I told you this was one of those shows, Gary?
Why is that man beating up these kids?
Please don't anybody underestimate my commitment to this game.
Can we share some of those stories?
I hold the measure sort of freak when I say that.
Hey!
But,
Hey!
It's not about justice in the beginning. It's about conviction.
There is a perception you don't necessarily think it's correct, I
I'm
gather.
getting my feeling about that now.
Get inside the story with Dave Hodge. Inside Sports. Weekdays on TSN.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by All Sport. The new All Sports drink for athletes. All Sport. The game will never be the same. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services, from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Great start for the Tiger Cats on home turf at Ivor Wynne Stadium. 7-0 on McAdoo's 1-yard touchdown. 9 plays to cover 78 yards, Leaf. 5 minutes, 41 seconds, and it was Derek over the top.
And it's interesting how they did it. 5 rushing plays on that opening drive. You don't think of Hamilton as a running team, but, you know, a couple of short yardage plays at the end. But, you know, Steve Taylor mixed it up nicely on that opening drive.
And ready for Osbaldiston's kickoff as the Texans get ready to get their hands on the ball for the first time. This is David Lucas waiting for it at the 25, and he's off. Solid return guy, David Lucas, out across the 40-yard line. Quarterback David Archer back at the controls of the Texas offense after missing 3.5 games with a hamstring problem. His credentials have been super in Canadian football. The offensive line still anchored by Mike Kiselick, 19 sacks allowed in 8 games. And there are 4 new receivers in 95. Joe Kralik and Mark Stock start outside. The running back is Mike Saunders, second in CFL rushing right now. Texans begin at the 42, first down. Some early movement and flags are everywhere as Saunders took the ball. Kay Stevenson looking on. Procedure call is the indication from Don Ellis.
The offensive line of San Antonio. First down repeated.
Defensively, Marcus Cotton is back at the lineup at right end with Philbrook, Campbell, and Small up front. Great linebackers, Sean Smith, Michael O'Shea, and Hassan Bailey. And Brian McCurdy gets his first start at safety for the Tiger Cats in 1995. This is 1st and 15 as Archer operates from the shotgun. Had a man open. That was Tony Burst. Couldn't hang on to the ball.
John, you know what's interesting when you look at this San Antonio offense, and you know teams do tendencies, and for Kay Stevens, who calls most of the plays, 6 out of 10 of their favorite plays are running plays, and that's kind of unusual for a CFL team. It's, you know, normally about maybe 3 of their favorite plays or most used plays are running plays, but you know, definitely in San Antonio's scheme of things, establishing the run is really important.
2nd and 15. And another whistle. Too much time that time, I do believe. Not a great beginning for the Texans to answer that superb drive by the Tiger Cats.
Time count violation. San Antonio number 18. Second down repeated.
Well, as a team, they throw the ball well, San Antonio. You know, we just talked about how they like to establish the run, but, you know, at 59% as a team, that's awfully high. As you can see how well they rank in that category in the CFL.
This is 2nd and 20. Archer had trouble with a snap. And he was lucky to get back and get control of the ball. Ticat defense really didn't have to do anything on that sequence, and look where they forced San Antonio back near the 15-yard line.
John, you know, I make it a point to really watch how teams warm up, and you know, sometimes you get a really good indication, are they ready to play, or you know, a feeling of how they're going to be. And San Antonio had a horrible warm-up. I mean, they weren't completing balls, and they were throwing interceptions to their own defense. And you know, now they come out in the opening series and have all kinds of things go around. 2 time counts, a bad snap, and well, this isn't the way you want to start a game on the road, especially when Hamilton scores on their opening drive.
Yeah, Todd Jordan has to get it deep here. Going to Sam Rogers. Bouncing across the 45 and well covered by the Texans special teams. Tony Burst leading the tacklers. The return is 3. Ticats have their hands back on the ball with a 7-0 lead. Welcome back to Ivor Wynne. It's been all Tiger Cats so far. A solid opening drive for the 7-0 advantage. And the Hamilton offense back on the field.
John, we talked already about the rushing and who likes to and who doesn't really like to. You can see San Antonio, how important it is to their overall scheme of things. Now, Hamilton is 9th in the league, and you know, that's a little misleading because since Steve Taylor has taken over as the #1 quarterback, their rushing totals have gotten better and better each game. So although they're 9th in the league, they run the ball as a team a lot better than they did at the beginning of the season.
The other intangible for Hamilton is they get the ball to Kalen Hall on passes sometimes. Don Southern considers that part of his running game.
Well, I don't think there's any question. A swing pass to Kalen Hall is a high percentage, and you know, it's the same as running a sweep or something. Now, he only touched the ball 11 times totally last week against Shreveport. He has to touch it more than that.
On first down, Taylor has Kalen Hall coming out of the backfield. Well read by the San Antonio Texans. That's Grady Cavness coming up to make the tackle. And if that name sounds familiar, Grady Cavness Sr. played some great years with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the BC Lions in the secondary. He was an all-star with the Bombers in 1972 and an all-star with the BC Lions in 1977. Grady Cavness Sr., and here's Junior out there in his first start.
Yeah, Junior's worked his way into the lineup. He's been the extra defensive back. Now he gets to be a starter tonight.
2nd and 9 as Taylor goes to the far side. Manny Hazard had it and had nowhere to go.
Taylor to Manny Hazard.
Jason Wallace stared him down and had time to get some help over to make the tackle on Hazard.
And what this defense for San Antonio does, it's a bend and don't break kind of defense. Bill Bradley, their defensive coordinator, likes to play it that way. Here's Jason Wallace out here. He's just got this area. So when Manny Hazard catches the ball out here, I mean, it looks good. Hey, he looks like he's wide open. Nice pass to complete now. But look at how Jason Wallace is right there, and Gerhardt's going to show up. When you got 2nd and 8 or 9 against this ball club, when you throw underneath, yeah, they're good passes to complete, but it's going to be tough to make first down.
Here's Paul Osbaldiston. Solid kick for Ozzie down inside the 15. And this is Wallace on the return. Markers are down as Wallace is hit by Blaine Schmidt. 5 yards on the return after a 49-yard punt. Penalty going against San Antonio.
San Antonio's opening series was an absolutely horrible one with a couple of penalties and a bad snap, and now this penalty is going to set Kay Stevenson's offense up in a real hole.
San Antonio number 10, first down.
Malcolm Frank, the guilty party on the illegal block. So again, the Texans begin deep in their own zone.
First down, 10 yards to go, ball on their 7-yard line.
The offense is not clicking. Look at that number, -14 compared to the Ticats.
And this is a turnover-prone offense.
Archer faked the run. Will he get it away? Look for Martin Wise, and it was Marcus Cotton supplying the pressure on David Archer.
And, you know, that's one of these coverage kind of sacks here, or pressures, and Marcus Cotton working so hard. I mean, you know, here he is at the top. He keeps coming and coming now. Keep in mind, this is against play action. Archer had all kinds of time to throw. I mean, give the secondary credit for that one. And once again, as John, you mentioned in the opening, Archer takes a pretty good shot. He takes a lot of them.
2nd and 10. Texans near the 5. Archer stands back and fired low and away. Kittrick Taylor, number 85, was the intended receiver, but there was never a chance that was going to be a completion.
Well, Hamilton plays situational defense so well. Once again, here, Marcus Cotton working on Rob Stevenson. Rob Stevenson, boy, he better get that good footwork going tonight, because Cotton looks like he's fired up. Move to the outside, boom, in, and he was almost there. But, you know, Derek Greer, the corner, was snugged up on Kittrick Taylor. He knew at 2nd and 10, Archer's not going deep. These guys on Hamilton, they really play the situation smartly.
Rogers and Greer, deep for the Tiger Cats. Todd Jordan, not a deep kick. Rogers had trouble, and who recovered near the 40-yard line? Looks like the Ticats. Now he got it back.
Taken by Rogers.
Ticats have another break. First down at the 40 when we return to Ivor Wynne in Hamilton.
First down, Tiger Cat.
Dear Dave, after session last week, we had your new smoky bacon cheeseburgers. One bite and we said, man, whoever made this has paid his dues. 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon, processed smoked cheddar with that sauce, all on a 1/4 pound of fresh ground beef with sauteed onions. Dave, it was so delicious, Lucille and I played a whole set of Lowdown Blues. Your pal, B.B. King.
Here, B.B. Keep smiling. You'll beat those blues yet.
Try Wendy's new smoky bacon cheeseburger.
Hi, I'm Doug Gilmore of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the ALS Society of Canada. I'm asking you for your support to achieve our goal in finding a cure for Lou Gehrig's disease. This fatal neuromuscular disease can strike anyone. Please make a generous donation and help us find a cure. People with ALS and their families are counting on us. Call 1-800-267-4ALS or your local chapter. We're fighting Lou Gehrig's disease with everything you give.
A little more live.
Ticats on top, 7-0 on the San Antonio Texans at Ivor Wynne.
Boy, Steve Taylor, what a start he's been off to tonight. Perfect so far, 5 of 5. But hey, remember a week ago against Shreveport, they scored on their opening drive just as they did tonight. But then they went south for about 2.5 quarters. And one of the things that, you know, like I make some notes about what does Hamilton have to do on offense tonight to win this game. They can't take 2.5 quarters off again and rely on their defense. They have to keep some sort of pressure on San Antonio's defense with a little better consistency. I mean, you don't always have to score points, but you have to move the ball enough to have a bit of consistency. And, you know, that's what Don Southern talked about yesterday, too.
And talking about 5 for 5, that's what Calvillo was when he came in relief of Steve Taylor in the 4th quarter last week. 5 for 5, tossed for a touchdown, and ran for 1.
You know, it's interesting when you look at the quarterbacks, and don't forget Mike Kerrigan, who's number 3. He came in early in the year against Birmingham and did a heck of a job to help them win the game. So each quarterback in Hamilton's system has won a game for them.
1st and 10, Ticats from the 40. Here comes the charge. Taylor unloads in a hurry, looking deep far side, and no chance for Larry Thompson for the coverage by Jason Wallace that time.
2nd and 10 for the Ticats on the 40.
Well, Larry Thompson, you know, he's still got some terrific speed. He's been slowed down a little bit with a leg injury he had a few years ago. There's that look of the zone. Hey, Bobby Humphrey jumps up in the flat, and Jason Wallace picks him up deep. But as a quarterback, you're thinking, oh, they've blown the coverage. He's wide open. But, you know, that's the illusion of the zone, and San Antonio plays a ton of zone. It's a soft kind of defense.
Thompson, 2 receptions last week for 27 yards. 2nd and 10, Ticats. Taylor away from the first rush and gets it away somehow. Looking for Nurse, and it's almost intercepted in the end zone. Grady Canvas got in front of it. And so the Ticats had to 3rd down. It was Leonard Nelson with the pressure on the Ticat quarterback Taylor that time.
One of the things that makes San Antonio defense good is they don't blitz a lot. But when they do, sometimes it's a bit of a surprise. And look at the gap they create for Leonard Nelson coming right up the middle now. How does he miss it? Kalen Hall misses him right there. See, that's his man. And, you know, that's just enough to throw Steve Taylor off. And he's very fortunate that Richard Nurse made the play here to stop the interception by Cabness. There's Leonard. His job's on the line. You know, they've signed Maurice Miller, who was their starting middle linebacker a year ago. So, you know, he better play well tonight.
Here's Palmas Balliston. He was perfect last week, and so far, so good tonight. 47-yard field goal for us, Balliston. That was a line drive leap. Not much height on that one.
Yeah, I don't know what Ozzy's been eating, but he's taken a little sip out of the fountain of youth, because all of a sudden now, late in his career, he's 8 out of 10 from over 40 yards. He's never punted better in his life. In fact, he leads the league in net punting. So, hey, whatever he's doing, whatever kind of workout program he's on, it agrees with him.
Interesting that Olisic was the punter as this Tiger Cat team unveiled its roster in 1995. He got hurt. Osbaldiston came in, and he's been kicking the lights out as a punter, averaging 46.2 yards for a net of 42, which is excellent.
Well, you see that third one there, that net, 42.1 net. Now, I mean, he's only had 25 punts, so out of the top 10 punters in the league, I mean, that's not a lot of attempted punts. But still, the net is the net. I mean, that is a heck of a number. You look at who's closest to him. It's Josh Miller in Baltimore at 41.4 on the net. So, and that's over a yard. Yard's big in punting.
Gates and Lucas are deep for the Texans after the Ticat field goal. Hamilton on top, 10-0 with 4:01 to go in the opening quarter at Ivor Wynne. This is David Lucas right on the 20-yard line. Great seam opens up the middle for Lucas, and he's stopped by Nurse near the 50. 29-yard return, which is excellent.
First down, San Antonio.
Lucas led the Eastern Division with 832 kickoff return yards in 1994.
In 1993, he played right here in Hamilton, so he's pretty familiar with Ivor Wynne Stadium. Now, for Kay Stevenson, he calls all the plays, has total input with the offense. I mean, this is a horrible start. Last series deep in their own end. Now they're at their 49-yard line. You've got to expect a little bit better now from David Archer in his third series.
They keep it on the ground out near the 50. It's Troy Mills, number 20. Mills in his first game with the San Antonio Texans. Had a tryout with the 49ers and then with the Cardinals and just signed a contract this week.
Yeah, those are his numbers. He was just released by Arizona last Monday, signed, and the offense hadn't changed that much, so he's able to get in the game and play. And with those kind of numbers, you know, Kay Stevenson wanted to get him in fast.
2nd and 5. Archer from the shotgun stands in over the middle on target. It is Mike Saunders down to the Ticat 35. Hassan Bailey on the tackle, number 7. Nice looking play.
Well, this is the tough thing about Mike Saunders. You know, number one, you say we want to slow this guy's running down, but hey, you know, he can beat you receiving 255 catches a year ago, and now his 22nd reception. And you know, for Hassan Bailey, who's a 4.5 sprinter himself, he had trouble staying with Mike Saunders. He got some good speed.
Nifty 20-yard gain for Saunders. Texans near the 35. Archer over the middle again and on target once more. Bailey in the area. Saunders not the receiver that time. Myron Wise, number 82, has 20 yards.
Well, you look at this San Antonio receiving core, and the thing I like about it is, I mean, they've got 6 receivers that are all interchangeable. Myron Wise is not listed as a starter, but he comes in and, you know, makes his 11th catch of the year and is a contributor. But, you know, this is 6 receivers who all can play every spot.
Texans 1st and 10 at the 15. Archer swings it out for Crowlett, and he's down near the 5-yard line. Grabbed there by number 95, Sean Smith.
Sean Smith on the tackle for the Cats.
He's had a solid season. Smith has 4.5 speed. And Kralik over 500 yards receiving coming into the game and 4 touchdowns.
You know, it's kind of interesting, you know, you think about a game and what might evolve in the game, and here we're saying, well, it's so important for San Antonio to get that running game going, and, you know, all of a sudden this whole drive, they haven't run the ball once, and they've thrown every time, and look how much they've been able to accomplish by it.
Texans are 2nd and 2 at the Ticat 7. This is Mike Saunders, room to the outside, and he'll score. Mike Saunders into the end zone for his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Explosive backfield when you add Saunders alongside Troy Mills.
Well, you look, you know, Troy Mills, number 20, the fullback in this scheme all of a sudden. What a block he made, and Darren Mullenberg comes around the corner, and before you know it, that's a pretty easy trip into the end zone for Mike Saunders. So, you know, San Antonio, give them credit. They needed to do that. They're down by 10. All of a sudden, they answer back. All started with the good field position, starting on their own 49-yard line. A little better spot for David Archer to operate from.
And the 7th point of the evening for the Texans by Roman Anderson. Saunders into the end zone from 7 yards away, and it's a 3-point ball game all of a sudden. Saunders had a couple of super seasons with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Ended up with San Antonio as a free agent after the 1994 season.
You wonder why Mike Saunders got in the end zone so easily. Watch Troy Mills, the fullback. Hey, here's Sam Rogers, the defensive back. You got Darren Mullenberg coming around the corner. But watch Sam Rogers, 31. You know, he gets put right back into the end zone. Now, hey, you want to try and get big, get up under your shoulder pads. Whoa, that's called a turf job. He just got turf. And Mike Saunders, he ran that one in pretty easily. He knew it. About 5 yards to the goal line, he could just coast because he knew there was nobody that had a chance to stop him. But Troy Mills, 1,200 yards rushing a year ago, but now as a fullback with a terrific block at short yardage.
Mills knocked Sam a little silly on the block on that play to spring it for Mike Saunders, perhaps his easiest touchdown of the season, number 5.
I'll guarantee you, when they get back to San Antonio and they watch the film of this game, you know, Kay Stevens is going to have that offense together, and that projector is going to just be clicking and clicking, back and forth, and he's going to tell the guy, hey, that's what football is all about.
Coming down to Derek Greer at the 10. Has a little room to the near side if he can get around number 7, Jason Wallace, but he couldn't. 13 yards on the return after a 65-yard kickoff. And the Texans engineered a solid 5-play drive to cover 61 yards. Saunders into the end zone from 6 yards away.
Catch on their 23-yard line.
Yeah, the only time they ran the ball on that play was Saunders' scoring drive. Well, you look at the Ticats and where they were a year ago to where they are now, and this year, 4 wins, 3 losses. Last year, really struggling, 2 wins. Of course, went on that season to only have 4 wins the entire year, which they've equaled now. So is this team improved? You betcha it is.
Both teams have improved. 1st and 10, Ticats at the 23. Some early moments, and then draws a flag as Kalen Hall squirts through for about 5 yards. Hall is averaging 5 yards a carry. And offside against the Texans.
Offside. San Antonio, number 58. First down repeated.
Dave Harper was offside. 6 penalties totaling 51 yards, and 1 set up a pretty easy Hamilton touchdown down at the goal line. That was the interference call in the end zone. Ticats 1st and 5, Hamilton 28. Taylor over the middle and a big hit on the intended receiver, Kalen Hall. That was Leonard Nelson.
That was a pretty tentative throw by Steve Taylor. You know, as a quarterback, sometimes you're expecting coverage, and for some reason, you know, he's thinking blitz right here, quick. And all of a sudden, he lets that thing fly, and Kalen Hall gets hammered on the play, and Grady Cavness had a chance for the interception, but Taylor was expecting some sort of blitz. He didn't get it, and maybe he should have just thrown that one in the stands.
Hall is over on the sideline seeing stars. That puts McAdoo in the Ticat backfield. Here's Taylor on 2nd and 5. Has to hurry it. He's got Manny Hazard, and Hazard has a first down. Wallace made the tackle on Manny Hazard on the final play of the opening quarter. Kalen Hall shaking it up on the Tiger Cat sidelines. It's Hamilton leading by 3.
Imagine adhesives so strong they help hold together 100 tons of soaring transportation. Imagine a fabric so bright it lets you see an accident in time to prevent it. Imagine a single disc so powerful it can store almost everything imaginable and protect it for a lifetime. These products and thousands more that make our lives better exist because the people at 3M imagine.
Well, I don't think he's feeling all that well right now, Darren. He's staring kind of blankly ahead as the medical staff takes a close look. He took a real big hit just a couple of plays ago. So taking no chances at the Hamilton bench for Kalen Hall.
See, the eyes tell the whole story right there. I mean, that is a faraway look in those eyes right now. That's not that intense look. That's the faraway job. And when that happens, you know he's been dinged.
Numbers from the opening quarter. And one of the key stories, number of penalties taken by the San Antonio Texans, 6 for 51 yards. Ticats with 6 first downs, 50 yards passing, and a net total of 60 yards for the Ticats, and no penalties so far.
Well, I like that time of possession in Hamilton's favor. You know, one of the things, if you want to make David Archer beat you by throwing, is to keep him off the field, too, and they did a pretty good job of that.
1st and 10, Tiger Cats, beginning at the 37. Taylor has that one batted down. It's up for grabs. Knocked down, or at least up by Jeff Sawyer, and it hung up in the air for a bit. Come down with a football. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, you mentioned Jeff Sawyer, John. He was the first pick by San Antonio in the dispersal draft from Las Vegas, and he's a heck of a defensive end. He's been hurt, and finally back in the lineup tonight. They'll rotate him in, but he was a heck of a player with Las Vegas last year. He's really going to help this club. 16 starts in '94 with a posse. He had 4 sacks. 2nd and 10, Tiger Cats here. Taylor stands in and delivers for Earl Winfield. Slightly off target. Malcolm Frank was on the coverage.
3rd and 10 for the Cats.
Kalen Hall will be on the sidelines for quite some time. It would appear he's got a 1st-degree concussion, according to our reports from the bench.
Look at those eyes. I mean, the eyes, they tell you everything on that one.
And another Tiger Cat shaken up. Number 55, Doug Davies. Played with the Stampeders in 1994.
Yeah, you look at free agent signings that Hamilton made, and that was a big one to get Doug Davies. He had helped the Stampeders, and Hamilton needed some offensive linemen, and it's been good for Hamilton to get him in there.
Injury timeout at Ivor, Wynne, and Hamilton with 14:21 to go till halftime. It's the Ticats on top, but only by 3.
3M Canada, imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at Work.
4004.
Doug Davies finally up and headed to the Tiger Cat sidelines.
Boy, glad to see that. He really took a bad shot. I mean, this is tough. Here's Oscar Giles right here, and, he will be pushed right in. Davies doing a heck of a job out there. Look how far he's got his man away from the quarterback. You do a great job, and all of a sudden, the big old guy falls on the back of your leg, and I'm glad to see him get up walking off. That looked awful. You never know. You're in that pit, and guys are banging at you from everywhere, and there's Oscar Giles. He fell right on him.
Osbaldiston is in. You think he's thinking about the one that was blocked and about this spot in the Shreveport game that almost turned it around for the Pirates last week.
We talked about that. He said, I never saw the guy coming. Sometimes you see them, and that time I didn't see a thing.
Markers are already down as it rolls past Gates and down near the 20. And another marker down in that area. Andrew Martin was leading the Ticat tacklers 2 yards on the return. A couple of penalties to sort out for Don Ellis here. One going against the Tiger Cats. 2 going against the Tiger Cats from those 2 indications.
John, I don't usually get too involved in the rules, but, I love the CFL game, love everything about it except the no yards penalty. I mean, this is one that I hear fans talk about, players talk about. We'll hear the call.
No yards, Hamilton, 5 yards, decline, holding Hamilton. That penalty is accepted. First down.
The fans tell me, I agree with it. They want to see this no yards gone. And I know what the premise behind it is to encourage a punt return on every punt. To try and get more action into the game. And yeah, in principle, that's good. But there's just too many no yards penalties right now. The players, it's undisciplined. There's no excuse for it. But boy, oh boy, does it slow the game down.
Texans 1st and 10 beginning at the 29. This is Mike Saunders trying the left side and slowed from behind by Jesse Small, number 97.
Hassan Bailey on the tackle.
Saunders signed as a free agent. Over 1,200 yards for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 1994 out of Iowa, playing in his 3rd CFL season.
Number 2 in rushing right now. Only Mike Pringle has more yardage on the ground, and there you see his numbers, and that translates into about 4.9 yards a carry, which is excellent.
5 on the previous play for Saunders. 2nd and 5 for Archer here. And almost grabbed by Sean Smith, who
Archer's pass knocked down
had his hands
Sean
on
Smith.
it.
John Smith, who, as Don Southern said, has just been able to get better and better every time. Look, he's reading into the eyes of David Archer, and when that ball is in the air, he reacts to it, gets the left hand up, and that's a heck of a play. Played for Frankfurt in the World League and played all 10 games. Now, if he plays all games this year, that's 28 games in a short period of time. That's a lot of football.
Maybe a little too much football for any one individual.
When we talk about physical size, though, Sean Smith, 6'3", 230, and still runs the 40 and 4.5 speed. Well, he's the kind of guy you want to have a look at, and he's played well.
Better kick this time for Jordan. This is Derek Greer. And there's nowhere to go for Derek Greer on the return. Just 5 yards after a 41-yard punt.
Giles on the tackle.
That guy's having a great season, number 31, Sam Rogers.
Yeah, and here's old Sam coming down now. He's remembering Troy Mills just turfed him on the goal line, and sooner or later he's going to get a lick on somebody. There he takes on Tony Burse right there, but once you've been hammered one time, you're going to spend a good part of a quarter trying to find somebody else that you can put a lick on, and he got one back right there.
Steve Taylor doing a solid job for the Ticats so far. There's a marker down, and Taylor escapes. He'll have enough yardage for the first down.
Steve Taylor, the ball carrier.
Checking on the infraction first, however.
Pierce and Harper on the tackle. We've got flag on the play.
Ready for the call.
Offside. San Antonio, number 97. Penalties decline. First down.
A little doubt about taking the first down there. And Jeff Sawyer jumped across early.
Now, opening drive for Hamilton, 49 yards and a touchdown. And you see what they've done the last three. And, boy, this is very similar to what they did a week ago. And, boy, they must come out of the locker room all fired up. And for some reason, they lose their intensity.
First down, Tiger Cats, and that's Derek McAdoo.
The ball carrier.
4, maybe 5 yards for number 19, Derek McAdoo.
Sawyer on the tackle.
And Sawyer was in on the tackle. McAdoo has the Ticat touchdown from a yard away tonight.
Ball on the 54-yard line.
I don't think anybody's more aware of this than Steve Taylor, that, you know, he got off to the great start. Now he wants to try and keep it going. So you know how important this drive is after they've had a couple of bad ones.
They call it a gain of 3, making this 2nd and 7. Taylor has a little time, stands in, looks deep. Manny Hazard and Thompson in the area. Thompson couldn't bring it down.
Oh, and had he caught that football, there was a coverage breakdown in the San Antonio secondary. That was a freebie. That was an easy 6. For some reason, Steve Taylor just couldn't get it into him.
Got one hand on it, couldn't quite bring it home.
There's nobody, look it, there's nobody anywhere near him. Look, there's nobody anywhere in that whole universe. Look at this. Nobody there. Hey, that's, I mean, those are ones you go back and look at the film tomorrow and you just say, boy, did we ever lose one there? That was an easy, sure 6.
Osbaldiston, low kick, and he angled that out of bounds. There's a marker down in the end zone this time. Larry Thompson thinking about what might have been.
Men, San Antonio. First down.
Oh my gosh, too many men. And it'll be a Ticat first down. Kay Stevenson's problems continue. The Ticats.
TSN this summer. Our 45-game schedule is jam-packed with familiar faces. Explosive action is headed your way from the north, south, east, and west. Get down and dirty weekly as the good old boys renew acquaintances. But remember, there's only one place to catch CFL fever this summer. CFL 95 live on TSN, your weekend hotspot.
Ticats on top 10-7 after a penalty for too many men on the field, and they're still steamed on the San Antonio sideline.
Well, Bob Matos is the special teams coach, and he's just been storming. Oh, there he is. There's Bob right there. I mean, the blood pressure is at an all-time high right now because, you know, that's his responsibility, you know, to make sure that, hey, listen, I mean, ultimately the players are, but, I mean, that's his team. That's his expertise. And they made a mistake to give a team a first down in a critical area of the field, and he's wild.
It will be a Hamilton first down at the 45, 10:51 to halftime. As Taylor stands in, goes deep one more time, looking for Winfield. Yes. Winfield's first catch of the night. You gotta love the way number 1 plays football, Lee.
You gotta love the way he locates and finds footballs, and hey, that was a tough catch that he was able to make 7 times. He's done that this year. You know, that's one thing Don Southern said yesterday. Teams are sitting on our receivers. We've got to go downtown to loosen some secondaries up, and with good protection up front. That's a throw that Steve Taylor's saying, I hope my guy can go up and fight for the ball. Winfield did it, and he does it more often than not. Earl got a touchdown last week, and I was talking and shaking his hand before the game. He came and grabbed me today. He says, I got to shake your hand. You're my good luck charm.
Convert is added. Winfield got touchdowns in his first 5 games for the Tiger Cats this season. And now he has his first tonight, 7th on the season receiving. Working here against Malcolm Frank.
Yeah, Malcolm Frank tries to locate the football, but it's just too late. I mean, that's a terrific adjustment to to make on that catch. But, you know, you talk about, look at here, they try the stunt right here, and watch the solid protection on this side of the offensive line. You wonder why touchdowns are scored. Well, 12 men are doing the right thing, and Doug Davies, he passes him off to Richardson. See, he's passed him off to Richardson right there. Willie Fears, and now you got the good protection from James King right there. Looking for Steve Taylor. Hey, great sight lines downfield to find Winfield, but you know, an offensive line that has really come together in the last few weeks. They struggled against Toronto, played better last week against Shreveport, and now tonight, that's a good pickup on the stunt. You get the touchdown out of it.
Earl Winfield. Lots of touchdowns in his CFL career.
Shell, Ariel, Tanisha, Shaniqua, my brother Joe, Jay, Jimmy, Betty, my mom, I love you all. Everybody around the way.
I don't think he missed a soul. Got them all in. Lucas has trouble. It bounces back at the 1-yard line. Away now. Lucas forced out by number 4, Roger Hennig.
Lucas takes Ozzy's kickoff. Run into touch by Roger
32-yard return after he bobbled this.
For the Texans on the 34-yard line.
Boy, sometimes this happens, you know, you drop the kickoff. Everybody see them easing up just a little bit coming down there, and all of a sudden, boom, when they ease up, he finds a crack and makes a good play out of a potentially bad play.
So David Archer gets his hands back on the ball. Hitting on 67% of his passes. 3 of 7 tonight. Archer sideline. No catch. Myron Wise, the intended receiver, and Smith was in the area. So is Eric Carter. Here's the Ticat scoring drive. 5 plays to cover 68 yards. Winfield on the 44-yard reception. A touchdown that the Texans are saying shouldn't have been after they took a penalty.
Well, and you wonder why Bob Matos, the special teams coach, is burning. That too many men on the special teams cost his team a touchdown.
Second and 10, Texans. Here comes the heat on Archer. Stands in, found the release man. O'Shea brought him down. It's Troy Mills. Troy Mills couldn't get away from Michael O'Shea. Tough to find a bigger hero in Hamilton than number 59.
Well, they love this guy, and you know, here's middle linebacker. You're going to get to follow him the whole play, back and forth. You wonder why they do these drills in practice to work on your speed and agility. He breaks down, and makes a good tackle on Troy Mills there. But you know, that's a nice look. You get to be the middle linebacker. It's back and forth. Then you got to make the play, and he did.
Todd Jordan back at his 25. Rogers and Greer deep for the Ticats. Sam Rogers calls for it near the 20. He's taken one all the way at 95. Not that time. Rogers with a 113-yard punt return touchdown earlier. 14 yards there, and Oscar Giles made the tackle.
Well, you know, a funny story about Sam Rogers. Wayne Giardino and Don Southern were, you know, looking and scouting another player down at the University of Texas El Paso. They were watching some film and really interested. All of a sudden they said, who's this defensive back? And it was Sam Rogers. They said, well, we got to sign this kid. So, you know, they were looking at somebody else, and they end up signing Sam Rogers out of watching some film, and what a find he's been for them.
Special teams and in the secondary.
What a crazy way you get to pro football sometimes.
Little play action for Taylor on first down. Look for Thompson again, and he couldn't catch up to it. Humphrey was covering on Larry Thompson, and Taylor was down on the turf.
Steve Taylor you're right, he took a heck of a hit. It's Willie Fears right here. You know, this isn't a lot of sophisticated pass rushes coming from San Antonio. Most of the time they just stay in their lanes, will stunt every once in a while, but this is just a little extra work here. He gets by Doug Davies, full head of steam, and Steve Taylor, you got that little right arm down to kind of shield the blow a little bit, but that's a tough hit by a big man.
Willie Fears, 18 starts in 94, 4 sacks, played a little in Winnipeg, a little in Ottawa, before ending up in Texas. Taylor on first, second and 10. It's McAdoo, and he has the first down for the Ticats. Wallace made the tackle on Derek McAdoo. He picked up 12. McAdoo in relief of Kalen Hall.
And when you throw underneath the coverage on 2nd and 10, the only hope you have is if your back can make somebody miss. McAdoo made Gerhardt miss, and they get the first down.
Ticats up near the 46 now with 7:49 till halftime. Taylor on target for Winfield again. Nicely in first down range, but there's a marker down near the 45. We'll check that out. Gerhardt on the tackle on Winfield with Hamilton leading 17-7. And this penalty going against
illegal procedure. Hamilton number 1. First down repeater.
Against Earl. Must have got a little jump here, Lever.
Well, they called his number in the huddle. You know, every play, you know, the pass pattern, they sometimes say, well, X does this and Z does this. They probably said, okay, the formation, X curl. That's Earl's number. And so he's thinking, boy, this is coming to me. I better run a good route. And he just jumped the gun a little bit.
First and 15, Ticats at the 40. Here comes the heat on Taylor. Can't get to him, but forced an errant throw intended for Thompson. And Bobby Humphrey had his mitts on it first, couldn't hang on. Humphrey with 2 interceptions so far in 1995.
I'll tell you, that's twice now that defensive backs for San Antonio have had chances. Watch Bobby Humphrey right here. Now, when he covers that out, Larry Thompson comes in and turns into the defensive back. We saw Richard Nurse do this earlier to break up one down the goal line. Now Bobby Humphrey, look how quickly he closes onto the football, and you know that's often just a late throw.
2nd and 15. Taylor to his right, throwing on the run, and that one almost grabbed by Grady Cadmus, number 24. So Taylor has stalled a little bit here.
And what Taylor has to do is talk to Dieter Brock right now, the offensive coordinator. There he is, and then get upstairs with Terry Greer, the receiver coach, because what San Antonio is doing on defense, they play a lot of zone coverage, but their 2 inside halfbacks slide way out and try and get underneath the outs by the wide receivers, and that leaves the curl lanes wide open. I mean, Winfield was open on the one that he got called for offside, but that's the area that Hamilton has to attack. You know, you look at other teams like Baltimore and that, they give you the out. This team does not give you the out. You've got to throw inside.
Osbaldiston has it bounced back near the 30-yard line. Ticat scrambling to get out of the way. And no penalties down. Texans will have it near the 38 after a 31-yard Osbaldiston punt.
Let's go.
Hamilton on top by 10.
You can't come all over here.
It was our first occasion to have a chat with Kay Stevenson this year. It was interesting to hear his reaction about the move to San Antonio and, you know, how the fans had reacted to this new team. And, you know, it wasn't surprising what he said. He said they've been slow to react. It's a show-me kind of city, which is not hard to figure out. But, you know, like fans down in the southern United States are not ready for football in the summer. I mean, you know, teams are, NFL's in training camp. Colleges are just in training camp now, and they're not really football oriented for July and August yet. So that's going to be one of the hurdles and the transitions that this franchise will have to overcome. Attendance has been getting better and better, but I think that's because they're getting closer to Labor Day.
And that's when the football season truly begins in this country too. I think the CFL has to push its schedule back for all teams.
And still play a Grey Cup in Regina?
Well, it may not be possible this year. That's Mills. Obviously not possible this year. Philbrick in on the tackle. That's Michael Philbrick, number 99. Couple of sacks on the season for Michael, who's having another solid year. In his 3rd season out of Carlton, they really like this guy.
I like the enthusiasm and the zest that he plays this game with. I mean, this guy, young guy that knows he's going to be good. He works hard in practice, studies a lot of film, and you can see it in the way he's performed.
2nd and 7 for the Texans. The San Antonio 40. Here's Archer. And missed his target at the 50-yard line.
Archer's pass for Gamble goes
looking that time for David Gamble, number 6. A couple of starts in 94 for the Texans. He is the all-time leading receiver at New Hampshire.
Archer's reaction is one that, you know, David Gamble doesn't get a lot of playing time, and that's a timing pattern on that out. David Archer sets up, and he throws to a spot, and according to Archer's way of thinking, Gamble was a little late in coming out of his break.
Archer got on 4 of 10 for 54 yards so far. Greer and Rogers are back, waiting for Todd Jordan's punt. So let's watch Sammy run. Not this time, out across the 35. About the 37, 10 yards on the return. 42-yard punt. Jeff Sawyer made the tackle. Is he getting happy over there yet?
He's kind of got out of that grumpy mood where his special teams had too many men, you know, but he's happy with the coverage on that play. He's over that now until he watches the film tomorrow. And I'll guarantee you that blood pressure will go right skyrocket again.
Only 12 players allowed in this game, not 13, and that was the call against San Antonio that set up a Hamilton touchdown. Taylor good on 8 of 17 for 106 yards, and a long touchdown to Earl Winfield. Over the middle in heavy traffic, and he has a completion. Nurse right on the 55-yard line. Reliable guy to have around, number 85, Richard Nurse. Picks up 18.
Yeah, he ran the good pattern early that caused the interference, set them up on the 1-yard line. They scored their opening touchdown, and now he makes the good catch over the middle. He's playing for Andrew Grigg, who is a fine young slot back. He's out with a staph infection in his knee. But Richard Nurse, I mean, that's a good catch over the middle. You know you're going to take the hit, but you're willing to hang on at the same time.
1st and 10, Ticats in midfield. This is Manny Hazard out of bounds after grabbing a first down. Bobby Humphrey was covering on Hazard that time, so Taylor has it going again.
And what Taylor is looking at on this particular pattern, he's watching Jason Wallace. If he takes some steps back, this is the guy he hits right out here, Manny Hazard. That's the quick read. As soon as Wallace goes back, boom, you're throwing the out to your inside guy. Perfect read by Taylor, easy ball to complete. But the key is you read that inside halfback, especially against a team like San Antonio who plays so much zone.
This is Derek McAdoo. Stopped by the first rush, and he made a good play out of it. Wallace submarined him. But McAdoo ran into trouble on his initial try at the line. Spun around and found a couple of yards.
I think for the Hamilton Tiger Cats to run these draws, and if they get into some screens, that's a good hit by Wallace. You know, the ground, that wouldn't have been a fumble because the ground caused it, but the San Antonio front four is a tough team to screen and draw against because they really don't get upfield like some other defensive front fours do. So I think you're better off staying away from those types of plays.
2nd and 5. Taylor goes to Lee Knight over the middle. He'll have a first down. Tiger Cats inside the 25. Gerhardt made the tackle. You look at Knight and you look at Richard Nurse, reliable veterans on this Tiger Cat team. Come up with big plays back to back.
Well, you have to like the way Lee Knight plays this game. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, and mostly he's the blocking back, but he chips in with some good catches. Has yet to carry the ball this year. He's not overworked in that department, but talk about dependable. That's what he gives you.
Ticats now at the 25. Taylor looks to the far side for Nurse again, wide open. Good move to grab a couple of extra yards. He'll have a first down. He's been great on this drive. Willie Fears made the tackle.
I think one of the traps that San Antonio is falling into right now is just the same coverage look on every down, and these Hamilton receivers are reading it perfectly. So is Steve Taylor, the quarterback, and you know San Antonio's got to start to mix it up or they're in trouble.
Timeout in Steeltown with the Cats on top by 10.
Coming up at McDonald's halftime, we will take a look at what transpired last night. It was a memorable evening for Doug Flutie, Matt Dunnigan. A couple of huge milestones. The Stallions and Dogs. We'll have highlights of this contest, and we will talk live to Martin Short. That's right, Martin Short. He's a big CFL football fan, and he'll like tonight's contest.
Martin Short, a native of Hamilton, loves his Tiger Cats, and we saw him in the pregame festivities here tonight. He'll be along with Darren at the half. Meanwhile, lots to cheer about for Tiger Cat fans in this one tonight. They've engineered some solid drives, Leif, and here's another opportunity.
Yeah, it's a terrific opportunity for them to really take control of this game.
1st and 10, Ticats at the 12. Taylor, all kinds of time, tipped away by Jason Wallace. Manny Hazard was the intended receiver, as Wallace came over to get a hand on it.
At that time, San Antonio brought 7 people, a different look for Steve Taylor, and they have to do this. They have to try and get him out of a pretty comfortable rhythm that he's fallen into. And Jason Wallace with the good coverage. I think Jason Wallace is their best defensive back, not just because he made that play, but when you look when they get into man-to-man situations, I think he's the best cover guy they have.
And he's been really involved in this one tonight. 2nd and 10, Ticats at the 12. Big rush on Taylor. He goes down, and it's picked off. It's Jason Wallace at the 7, at the goal line. He's had a great series, as Wallace was there and waiting. Hazard was the intended receiver, and Wallace, according to my notes, that's his first interception of the season.
It is his first pick of the season, and they did it with extra pressure. Sawyer and Tom Gerhardt. Gerhardt with the hit, and that just throws up a duck from Steve Taylor with that heavy pressure and the hit coming, and Wallace gets the easy interception. But it's the pressure, and you know, for San Antonio, we talked about an adjustment they would have to make. They had to bring some more people and change their coverage. They did. They get the interception.
Those ducks are hard to catch, aren't they?
Well, that wasn't too hard for Jason Wallace to catch that duck.
I just mean the wobble on it. You know, you have to figure it all out the way it's coming down. Texans beginning at the 1. Troy Mills gets out to about the 4.
Mills the ball carrier.
Well, what a series he had. He had a knockdown in the end zone, and then he comes up with the key interception. That, you know, when you look back on this game, 17-7 Hamilton, 24-7, I'm not sure San Antonio has the offense to overcome that. You look back at the 2, 3, 4 plays that make a game. His might be one of those 3.
Yeah, actually back-to-back plays, knocking it down and then coming up with the interception on the goal line. 2nd and a bunch. Wide open is Kralik, and he may be gone. Joe Kralik down the sidelines with 2 Ticats in pursuit, and it's a touchdown. 106-yard touchdown. The strike from David Archer to Joe Kralik. And that play, previous to that, the interception looms even larger for San Antonio as a result of this connection here.
Well, Eric Carter gambled. He tried to come underneath Kralik and make the big play, and he gets burned by it. I mean, he's a great defensive back, but that was a situation that maybe he shouldn't have gambled on. And Kralik, to his credit, with the nice concentration, good catch. And boy, oh boy, you get the interception by Wallace. 2 plays later, 106-yard touchdown. And all of a sudden, San Antonio was alive and well in this game.
Kralik may need a little oxygen over there after the long run. He really had to stretch it out.
Take your helmet off. Easy, easy, easy. You feel cool?
Working on the hamstring. And the Texans are right back.
You know, you talk about corners throughout the league that like to gamble and take some chances. You know, sometimes it's good when it's calculated. But here's a guy, Eric Carter, hardest 5 interceptions. I mean, you look at him. There's his head. He sees that football, and he says, look, I can get in front of that Joe Kralik and make the interception. It was just a better throw than he thought. I mean, David Archer put that on a rope about 45 yards to Kralik. And, you know, that's just a better throw than I think Eric Carter thought he could make. What a throw.
David Archer hits on 62% of his passes, and a solid toss that time for a 106-yard touchdown.
John, when you're a corner like Eric Carter, there he is. He's a good one. Make no mistake about that. When a quarterback's throwing like a 35, 40-yard post, usually there's a little more hump on the football. If it's Doug Flutie or Tommy Burgess or Damon Allen, there's a little more air time on it. What he didn't factor into this whole thing was it's David Archer, who I think's probably got the strongest arm in the league, and he threw a rope about 40 yards that Carter just couldn't catch up with.
It's going to make for an interesting second half and a big turnaround for the Ticats, who were in scoring position 3 plays ago, and all of a sudden It's the Texans who come back with a 106-yard touchdown strike. Here's Rogers. Stopped at the 35 with a minute 32. Just a couple of plays to travel a long, long way for the San Antonio Texans.
I don't have statistics to prove this, but I think that's the longest drive they've had this year.
I would think it's a pretty decent guess, old pal.
Wow, you talk about the little things that turn around a game. Jason Wallace interception, how large that looms right now.
Ticats have a minute 32 till halftime. A chance to get a few more points on the board. Taylor has to get away from the pressure, and there's a marker down as Lee Knight makes the catch back at the original line of scrimmage. Or trying to make the catch, I should say. Couldn't hang on. It was Dave Richardson back protecting the quarterback, and I think might have been a little holding.
It wasn't a little holding. It was a lot of holding.
Holding. Hamilton number 51. Decline. Second down.
That's pretty easy one to call here. Dave Richardson, top of your screen. There he is on Jeff Sawyer. That good pass rush to the outside, and you'll see Richardson knows he's in trouble. He said, I'll try and get away with it, but referee was right there and saw it easily.
Penalty decline, 2nd and 10 Ticats, and here's another marker down. Someone moved early. Earl Winfield makes the catch out across the 50. And I think Jeff Sawyer was a little quick on that play.
Well, he was so excited about getting close to the holding call on the previous one that he just kind of launched himself a little early, and I don't think there's any question that it was Jeff Sawyer who was offside.
A minute 17 till the half.
So,
offside. San Antonio number 97. Decline. First down.
Most teams would have accepted that holding penalty and let Hamilton be 1st and 20, but for some reason San Antonio decided not to. And that's a lot of yardage not to take in a penalty. Boom, now you get a first down, and Hamilton's about a first down or two away from a field goal chance.
Yeah, with lots of time till halftime to take a slow and concentrated march here.
There's not too many teams that wouldn't accept a major penalty like holding, and I don't know, you have to question that coaching decision right there, I think.
Ticats 17, Texans 14 with a minute 14 to go till halftime. Pretty entertaining first half of football. Texans taking the majority of penalties for 61 yards. Ticats have taken 4 for 15.
Of course, the one San Antonio penalty for too many men on the field, and especially on the kick return, gave Hamilton that first down, automatic first down. They went in and scored. So penalties have played an important part here in this first half.
And the other Tiger Cat touchdown earlier set up at the 1-yard line on an interference call in the end zone.
Absolutely.
Thompson to the near side, 88. Earl Winfield flanks to the far side of the field. And I'm not so sure what the delay is about here. I don't know if there's a problem with the clock or what, but I guess we're ready now. There was no timeout that I heard. Ticats first down. Taylor shotgun. Here comes the heat. And he got it away for Manny Hazard. Close to a first down.
Manny Hazard.
Wallace on the tackle on Manny Hazard. Let's see where they'll spot this. It is a first down, Tiger Cats.
That's a good job by Hazard to work his way back to the quarterback to keep that separation, because he knew Jason Wallace was close by. And once again, Steve Taylor takes another hit from Willie Fears right up the middle. I can count Steve Taylor's had about 6 solid hits on him in this first half, and eventually they take their toll.
53 seconds till halftime as Taylor looks to take off himself. Slips through for about 4 yards. Harper made the tackle on Steve Taylor, who was thinking run all the way, it looked like.
Well, I talked earlier about the draw they ran to McAdoo as not being a great play, and I don't even think the quarterback draw against this team is a great play, because it's, number one, it's a zone predominantly defense where they can see that quarterback draw pretty easily, and this isn't a real fearsome pass rush that he's trying to run a draw against.
2nd and 6. Taylor with nowhere to go. fired that into the turf. Richard Nurse was in the area, so was Winfield. But Roosevelt Collins had Steve Taylor in his grasp. So third down. I don't know if they're in Ozzy's range or not, Leaf.
Well, here you see Collins coming from the outside, and he gets the initial pressure and then gets pressure again. And, you know, this is just a matter of deciding you want to get some pressure on that quarterback, because initially Val St. Germain does a pretty nice job, but Collins just relentless in his pressure on Taylor, and he's the reason why that ball falls short.
Paulos Pauliston is in. His longest on the season is 50. So this from 49 is within his grasp. Perfect so far tonight. Had 3 for 3 last week, and Ozzy has it up. And he's good. He's in a groove, isn't he?
Well, he is in a groove, and, you know, one of the reasons why he's in a groove is because Blaine Schmidt, who signed as a free agent from the Argonauts, is a terrific snapping. He's a guard. He used to be a center, but it's his snaps that have Paul said has been the reason why not only their field goal kicking is better, but his punting is better. Look at that. Boom. Right into Mike Kerrigan. Easy for Kerrigan to handle. Get the little tilt that the kickers love. But, you know, you look at this whole equation, center, holder, and kicker, and the kicker's usually the one that gets all the accolades. But I'll tell you what, Blaine Schmidt and Mike Kerrigan deserve a little bit of it, too.
25 seconds till halftime. Ticats on top, 20-14 as Archer looks to find a receiver. Has a man open near side, forced out of bounds.
Archer to Kittrick Taylor.
Kittrick Taylor made the catch, and he was forced out almost immediately. Now 18 seconds till the half.
David Archer with all kinds of time to throw. Finally went to the safety valve, you know, like he's thinking downfield so he can get Roman Anderson, his field goal kicker, out there. But finally, when nobody was open, he dumped it off. It still was a pretty solid play for them.
And enough for a first down with just 18 seconds till halftime. Archer has to get a little closer. Comes up short on the completion to Mark Stock, number 12.
Michael O'Shea on the tackle.
And Archer has 13 seconds to work with. First 6 drives, 52 yards. The last one was 109.
But our guys are having fun right now because, you know, 106 of that was Joe Kralick's catch.
109 yards in 2 plays. Archer. And Stock couldn't bring it down that time. Mark Stock with Brian McCurdy covering.
Archer's pass goes incomplete.
You know, as a defensive back, when you know a receiver has a chance to make a catch and you can't break it up, now you got to try and separate him with the hit. And here comes Brian McCurdy, 26. He knows if he can drive right through the body of Mark Stock, he's got a chance that he'll drop it. And, you know, hey, some people say, well, he should have kind of got his hands on it. But I'll tell you, that's a pretty good hit by Brian McCurdy. And one of the reasons why he is starting tonight, they've gone through 3 middle safeties. They started with Roger Hennick, went to Rob Hitchcock, and now Brian McCurdy has won the starting job. And it's plays like that that got him the job.
Third down and about 4 as they talk it over on the San Antonio sideline.
Well, you see on downs, they've only given it up 4 times. They've had all kinds of turnover problems. This has been a pretty error-free first half for them on offense. And you look at 10 interceptions, 13 fumbles, only 4 on downs. I mean, only the BC Lions have turned it over more as an offense. And, you know, here's another. They're either going to add to that awful total, or they're going to pick one up here on get a first down.
6 seconds till the half is over. Might as well go for it. 3rd and 3 at the 52. Here come the Ticats. Archer over the middle for Mills. It's picked up by Michael O'Shea. He's not going to make it to the end zone, folks.
Archer's pass intercepted by Michael Mills.
Mills made the tackle. He was the intended receiver, so the Ticats finish on a high note.
On the final play of the first half, O'Shea.
Solid first half. Here's one of Hamilton's favorites in action, number 59, Michael O'Shea.
And he does not take his eyes off David Archer at all until the ball is in the air, and then slides over and picks up his 2nd interception of the year. Pretty solid first half on defense for the Tiger Cats, and to San Antonio's credit, they didn't let this game get out of hand when it had a chance to get out of hand.
We enjoyed the first half. Look forward to the second from Ivor Wynne with the Ticats on top by 6. We send you back to Darren at CFL Control.
McDonald's Halftime, presented by your local McDonald's restaurant. Here's Darren Detition.
Welcome to McDonald's Halftime. Last night, it was a very big night for quarterbacks in the CFL, but outshining them all, the veteran Matt Dunnigan. Against the top defense in the league, Dunnigan rewrote the record books. He tossed 3 touchdowns and led the Barracudas to a last-minute victory, but more importantly, he racked up 433 yards, moving him past Tom Clements and into second place on the CFL's all-time passing yardage list. So in his 13th season in the CFL, Donnie has now passed for 39,266 yards and 274 touchdowns. But he still has a long way to go to set the all-time passing yardage mark, as Ronnie Lancaster holds the record with 50,535 yards. It took the Hall of Famer 19 seasons to accomplish the feat. It was also a very memorable night for Doug Flutie in more ways than one. Not only was the Stamps' 27-game regular season home unbeaten streak broken, Flutie was forced to leave the game due to injury. But before he did that, he surpassed the 30,000-yard plateau. It was not a typical day at the office for Flutie. He only threw for 128 yards, but it was this pass to Pee Wee Smith that just put him over the 30,000-yard mark. He then left the game due to tendonitis in his right elbow. So Flutie now sits in 6th place on the all-time CFL passing list with 30,001 yards. He's also thrown for 200 touchdowns. And remember, hey, he's only playing in his 6th season in the league. They really are remarkable numbers. Also remarkable is that he has never missed a game during those 5.5 seasons, but it looks like he'll be out for at least a week with that bad right elbow.
I don't think it's an option. I think it's probably going to be a necessity more than anything. You know, I don't know, maybe I'll turn around tomorrow morning, the swelling will be down and I'll feel great. I doubt that very seriously. It's probably going to be a little while.
On to the Memphis Mad Dogs as they are wrapping up their home-and-home series with the Baltimore Stallions. You know, after back-to-back losses, the Stallions ended the game bitter. Well, the Dogs are banged up. No Damon Allen and no downtown Eddie Brown. Let's now join Baltimore TV station WNUV and its announcers Bruce Cunningham and Joe Washington live in Memphis.
8-yard line, but that could be enough for the first down. First down here, you got 1st and goal, and things are looking good for the Mad Dogs.
Well, again, just simple handoffs, simple quick hitting plays. Because of the reaction time of this Baltimore defense, it doesn't pay to go with long, drawn-out plays where you're trying to run laterally. You've got to get at these guys real quick, get your linemen on them, and get your backs inside real quick, because this is a quick football team. A little small on the ends, but it is a first down.
1st and goal for the Memphis Mad Dogs here on their first possession of the game, and what a possession it has been. The big fullback out of Arizona State, Bruce Perkins, the main weapon. 6'2½", 232 pounds. Had a big game at Memorial Stadium, as we mentioned, and appears to be on his way to yet another tonight. Perkins, the lone setback this time, double slash to the right. Foggy gives it to Perkins again, and he falls forward to about the 6-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 6.
And I tell you what, Gerald Bayless did a fantastic job. It's really tough to block Gerald Bayless one-on-one. And if you're just going to try to, put your center on Gerald Bayless, which they try to do, go one-on-one blocking, it's going to be tough, and he's going to make a lot of tackles. Still running straight ahead is what, this Memphis team is doing, but Baltimore won that battle in the trenches.
2nd and goal from the 7. Power I for the Mad Dogs. Foggy gets sacked by O.J. Brigance. Brigance comes through untouched on the blitz, and there's no flags that time. So we're going to see the field goal unit for the Memphis Mad Dogs. The kicker, Nick Mystrom, a big game as well against the Stallions last week at Memorial Stadium. He's looking to put the Mad Dogs on the board first in this football game. Joe, there's 8:07 left in the first quarter. That is a 7-minute possession for the Memphis Mad Dogs.
Yes, it's a 7-minute possession, but, they're lucky, to be able to get this. Because of penalties, they've kept a lot of drives going, this Baltimore defensive football team. But I tell you what, for them to just get 3 points out of this just goes to show you how important field position really is.
Well, you just saw Foggy coming off the field. Damon Allen, the normal starter, injured. And the field goal is up. And it's good, and Memphis draws first one in this one. Mad Dogs lead it 3-0 from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Timeout on the field. We'll be back.
3-0 for the Dogs. Can they do it again? I don't know. It's still early in the game. We're going to take a short break, but up next, when McDonald's halftime continues, we'll have a very special guest from Ivor, Wynne. But first, here's a look at the top 6 passers on the CFL's all-time yardage list. Stay tuned. Welcome back to McDonald's Halftime. Joining us now live from Ivor Wynne Stadium is a big CFL football fan. He is entertainer Martin Short. Martin, thanks for joining us at the half.
Thank you very much.
How are you enjoying the football game so far?
It's an unbelievable game. 2014, and it's only the beginning.
You think
it feels like a Hamilton game tonight.
You know what? It's hard to believe that the atmosphere that's been regenerated in Steel Town, to think that they just about lost this franchise last year, and to watch them have as much fun as they're having this season, it looks real good on them.
Well, I'll tell you, the energy here is phenomenal. You really do feel like this is a renewed belief in the team, and you can feel it on the field. It's obvious, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a great deal of excitement tonight. It's a fabulous game.
Now, you're a native Hamiltonian.
Yes.
When you were a kid, did you go down to Ivor Wynne and watch the old ball games?
Oh God, my whole life was spent, around this CFL. I once shook hands with Paul Decker, number 75 in 1962. And then a week later, he caught a 30-yard pass and ran for a touchdown in the Grey Cup, and I felt it was my shaking his hand. I felt inspirationally involved in that. I was 12.
You know what? Everybody has fond memories of the Canadian Football League, and there you are. You were invited to do the coin toss, and you're tossing some footballs. You got a gun there. You got a pretty solid arm.
Yeah, not bad for a thin little thing like myself.
Did you ever play football?
I played for the Whitten Road Warriors, which was my street in Westdale.
Oh, okay.
I did pretty well. I'm not a braggart. It's not my way.
Sure. Well, we're Canadians, eh? We're very conservative people.
Absolutely.
Are you in town or in Ontario on business, or is this a pleasure trip for you?
No, I'm just vacationing here. I've been here for a couple of months, and I'm going back. I got to do a play in Los Angeles in September.
And how's the summer been treating you so far? There's no place like home. It's kind of true, isn't it?
Excuse me?
You said there is really no place like home, and it's pretty much true, isn't it?
Oh, the best. I mean, this is, I don't know. I mean, when I come back to Canada, and there's an immediate relaxation that takes place. It's very hard to explain, because I spent a lot of years, back and forth.
Yeah.
So without question, this is home.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back as well.
Thank
What's
you.
The movie you got working on? What's up next?
No, I'm going to do a play in September called
Right.
4 Dogs and a Bone, and then on December 20th, Father of the Bride 2 comes out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny caterer bit there that you did. That was.
Well, Frank the Caterer, he wasn't caterer, he lived in
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. We appreciate you taking the time. It is nice to have you back home. Good
Thank
luck
you.
in Los Angeles
Thanks
with
a
the
lot.
play and the upcoming film. We appreciate you taking the time, Martin.
Thank you.
Okay, once again, Martin Short, live from Ivor Wynne. We're going to take a short break here at McDonald's halftime. Coming up next, we will review our game story. We'll get John and Lee their first half thoughts. Stay tuned. It's the Tabbies in a tight one from Ivor Wynne.
Ooh, pretty car. Mazda 626 Chronos. No charge air, dual airbags, AM/FM cassette stereo. A 60/40 split pull-down rear seat, and Mazda's incredible 5-year warranty. Looks like the best family sedan in Canada. Can I borrow it? Oh, come on. I'll let you use your clippers.
Hurry for no-charge air conditioning or equivalent value credit.
McCain has a tasty pizza snack. They call them pizza pockets. McCain! Pizza pockets. The great pizza taste to keep you coming back. McCain! Pizza pockets.
Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but
McCain! Pizza pockets.
No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
McDonald's Halftime, brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
Welcome back to McDonald's halftime. Hey, we got ourselves a pretty good game. It's a 6-point spread as it stands right now in favor of the Tabbies. How did the first half break down statistically? Let's take a look at some of the important stats. The first downs, 5 to 16 in favor of the Ticats. When you take a look at net yards, it's not that bad. The Joe Kralik 106-yard touchdown has definitely influenced that. The turnovers, it's been even, but the time of possession, the Tabbies have controlled the ball, but a couple of big plays by San Antonio has brought them right back into this football game. We're expecting a whale of a third quarter and a second half. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll kick it off again at Ivor Wynne. Stay tuned.
Finally, a shoe for us. Damn.
And we're set for the Ticat kickoff to begin the second half at Ivor Wynne in Hamilton, Ontario. Cats on top by 6, solid first half, and we look forward to a great second half between the Texans and the Tiger Cats. Osbaldiston has it underway. Coming down to David Lucas at the 20. Another fine run by Lucas, who's out near the 45. And Derek McAdoo is in on the tackle, one of the solid special team players for the Ticats, holding a 24-yard return. Numbers on the quarterbacks from the opening half at Ivor Wynne tonight. Archer good on 7 of 15 for 183 and the big touchdown toss. Steve Taylor 14 of 27, 192 yards, a more controlled offense, 1 touchdown and 1 interception for each quarterback. Archer and the Texans begin right at the 45-yard line, first down. And that's Mike Saunders, better than halfway to a first down as he crosses the 50 and closes in on the 55-yard line. Michael Philbrick made the tackle.
Well, you look at Dave Archer, what he did in the first half, completed only 7 balls, and you look at distribution, who were they to? Well, Kralik had the one huge one for a touchdown, and Myron Wise, who's the 5th receiver in their scheme of things, and boy, he just spread it around. I mean, not a lot of completions, but not really one guy you could key on as you Wynne come out from halftime on defense and think, hey, we better shut him down. Really doesn't matter. He's moving it all over the place.
This is 2nd and 2, and Saunders gets the call again. Away from a shirt tackle. Marcus Cotton had him by the numbers, but he spun away and got enough for the first down.
One of the things that San Antonio likes to do is to run that counter to the outside, and here comes the off guard and off tackle, and Mike O'Shea with the initial hit right up the middle, and you know, that's a pretty good running by Mike Saunders just to pick up a couple of yards. I mean, a lot of people had shots at him at the line of scrimmage.
Texans first down at the 53. Ticats leading by 6. Some early movement, and markers are everywhere. Let's get the initial indication from Don Ellis.
Illegal procedure, San Antonio number 62, first down.
And this is what happened to San Antonio to start the game on their opening drive. You know, a couple penalties. Here's John Buddenberg here. Watch it. Little fancy footwork here before the snap, and all of a sudden now you've had a first down. Now you're back to 1st and 15. But little things, you know, really hurt San Antonio's offense tonight. Little penalties like that one that John Buddenberg just took.
It'll be 1st and 15 facing Archer now. Little play action as Archer goes deep. Robinson was covering, and the ball was thrown behind both the intended receiver and the defender. Intended for Myron Wise.
Now the blitz coming. Here comes Mike O'Shea, and they're caught on the loop all the way up the middle. Terrific job by Mike Saunders to pick him up, and had Don Robinson been able to turn around a little quicker, I think he might have had a chance at the interception, but, you know, we talked about David Archer being hit so many times. For the most part, his offensive line and backs have done a good job protecting him.
This is 2nd and 15, another marker down as Archer finds someone coming out of the backfield. That's Troy Mills. Mills can't be brought down until he crosses the 35. Grabbed from behind by Eric Carter. 28 yards. And the flags were down in the backfield of the Texans.
Illegal procedure. San Antonio, number 82. Repeat 2nd down.
That's Myron Wise, the slot back, and you know, he comes in on these long passing downs. He's the 5th receiver, comes in those situations, and you know, that was a heck of a play by Troy Mills to get the 1st down. All of a sudden, another penalty slows this drive down. I mean, they do some good things, and then boom, they go backwards. Good things, and then backwards. I mean, that's tough to have any consistency on offense.
2nd down and 20 to go for Dave Archer. Fans here getting a little boisterous as Archer swings it out again. Mills again. O'Shea was there on the tackle, number 59. Not many plays on 2nd and 20 have too much effect.
Well, I think, you know, what David Archer just has to say, let's try and get a few back, punt, and, you know, well, let's start over on another series. And for Don Southern, you know, his defense has played pretty disciplined defense tonight. Only one play, you know, Eric Carter went for an interception, missed, and they got the touchdown. But, you know, for the most part, this defense has kept everybody in front of it and come up and made some pretty good tackles tonight.
Todd Jordan standing at his 43. Nice view there. Sam Rogers won't have a play as Jordan plays it about perfectly, bouncing it out at the 9-yard line after a 43-yard punt.
We look at some of the things that have affected the score the way it is right now. Hamilton ahead 24-14. You know, obviously they've done a good job on 1st down productions to move the ball pretty well, but boy, the guy I like, how about old Ozzie? You know, 47 and 49-yard field goals. Is that any good? He's now 20 of 26 on the season, and you know, when he's been called upon in that 1st half, he really did the job. There he is. Said the difference this year, we talked about it in the 1st half. I've got a great center that gets that ball back consistently, and I never have to think about anything but kicking. Last year was a different story.
He was 3 for 3 last week. This is McAdoo. And McAdoo has been in for Kalen Hall since Hall suffered a concussion in the 1st half.
We looked at David Archer's distribution. This is what Steve Taylor did in the 1st half, moving the football around. And although Manny Hazard's been the most productive receiver with catches, it was Earl Winfield. One of those catches was a big touchdown down the sidelines.
44-yard touchdown for Winfield.
See Derek McAdoo in there. He's going to play the entire 2nd half. Kalen Hall with that concussion will not return.
Here's Taylor on 2nd and 5. Has Lee Knight stopped short of the 1st down as he was wrapped up on the far side by linebacker Dave Harper. Spent a couple of years with Dallas on the practice roster in his 2nd season now in this franchise.
Yeah, he's a great linebacker. Comes into tonight's game 3rd in the league in tackles with 45. You mentioned he was in Dallas. He was playing a lot of special teams with the Cowboys, but he had real personality conflict with the special teams coach down in Dallas, and he just up and quit one day. He said, you know, enough of that. I'm not going to play football if it's a pain in the neck, but he decided to come out of retirement and come to San Antonio. Actually came to Sacramento a year ago, and now has been an extremely productive linebacker for them. Funny how you get some players. Sam Rogers, they were looking at somebody else. This guy gets in a fight with a coach of another team, and he ends up being productive.
Here's Osbaldiston standing at his own 3. Big charge. Ozzie gets it away. This is David Lucas. Had a little trouble with it. Now he's got it. Stopped at the 55. Lost it there. But got it back as Andrew Martin led the Ticat tacklers that time. 42-yard punt. 3 yards on the return. And still the Ticats on top by 6.
Game at the Liberty Bowl. Carlos Huerta will come out and drill the 47-yarder. That ties it up at 3 in the 2nd quarter of play. A defensive battle taking place tonight. Let's go back to Ivor Wynne.
Ticats leading it 20-14 on the Texans from San Antonio. 10:29 to go, third quarter, and Kalen Hall, as we mentioned, finished for the night.
Blocking Calvillo, the game last week. How about Laurie Nimo?
Hey,
Laurie, want to be
have to carry a little extra load now with Kalen Hall not in the ball game. Although McAdoo's had a touchdown on short yardage, these guys are going to have to pick it up a notch. With Hall out there, they lose a lot.
Lee Knight has been productive for the Tiger Cats tonight. Couple of key receptions to keep drives alive. Now it's the Texans' turn. Beginning right at midfield. This is Mike Saunders trying to turn the corner. And he got caught up in traffic and actually fell down. Pinned by Luke Cafazzo, number 58. Everything closed down.
Second down, 15 yards to go.
Well, if you believe in all this stuff about which quarter's your good quarter, I mean, San Antonio's hoping they get a lot of offensive plays because this is the quarter they've scored the most points in.
Lots of 4 for David Archer. He looks at 2nd and 14. Slings it for Troy Mills over the middle. And Mills gets out near the 50-yard line, gets a lot back, but he'll be short of the first down. Ticats do struggle a bit in this quarter, Lee.
Well, one of the reasons why they struggle, you know, these are numbers that reflect on the defense, but it's the ineffectiveness of their offense to move the football. They've been on the field a lot in the second and third quarters, and yeah, this is their worst, but you know, it's kind of misleading in a way. These two defenses are so similar. They're these bend, don't break type, only rush 4 guys, drop off 8, and you know, they're tough defenses. When you're in second and long, I mean, these are tough defenses to convert first downs. You got to have great first down production against San Antonio and Hamilton's defense.
Todd Jordan at his 45. That's what you see. Here's Jordan's punt. High. Coming down for Rogers. Markers are down, and Rogers turns it into a decent return. He's out of around the 25. 9 yards on the return, 35 on the punt.
No yard. San Antonio number 37. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Don Ellis said 37, but it was 97. Jeff Sawyer. You know, maybe he hasn't covered a lot of kicks before, but watch him now. He can't locate the football. I mean, he gets the no yards penalty. He just kind of runs by him, and you know, there. But he doesn't even know where the ball is yet, and he gets the no yards call. And didn't even get a hit out of it. Like, if you're going to get a no yards like that, you might as well get a hit. But then you get roughing on top of it.
Then you get roughing on top of it. 5 yards isn't a big hurt at times. Ticats set up at the 31-yard line, first down. Hamilton by 6 in the lead. Shoveled ahead for Derek McAdoo. And he's hit hard, trying to get across the line.
You know, John, I really don't understand some of the plays that Hamilton's running tonight. They're all running plays. The draw and now the shovel pass. And those plays are designed to slow down a pass rush. And this isn't a pass rush that everybody worries about. Look, I mean, you look at the tackles, Bethune and Fears. I mean, they don't even get any penetration upfield. So, I mean, these to me are the absolute wrong plays to run. I mean, hitters to get through there, but not the dinky plays, the shovels and the draws.
That was Harper on the tackle there, limiting the gain to a yard. This is 2nd and 9. As Taylor stands in and fired it low and into the turf. Ticats are set to kick. Again on the coverage, Jason Wallace, and Larry Thompson was the intended receiver.
Well, the call was right. I mean, the hooks to the outside receivers are the pass patterns you want to run against San Antonio. They give you that lane to throw in. Steve Taylor had the right play called. He just couldn't get the throw into Larry Thompson. So I think we've had a third quarter of a lot of 2 and outs.
Another one for the Tiger Cats. Osbaldiston standing near the 20-yard line, so the Ticats did gain a little bit on the exchange. They're gaining that field position back.
You know why both teams are having a lot of 2 and outs is because first down production is pretty poor.
Look at this kick by Osbaldiston. Chasing Lucas back to the 30. And the Ticats went a little on the exchange again. Blaine Schmidt and Dean Noel leading the tacklers. 7 yards on the return. And a whopping 50-yard punt for Paul Oswaldson.
We're in a garbage crisis. One reason McCain chose to pack their juices in these aseptic boxes rather than non-refillable glass bottles. 1 liter aseptic packages use 88% less material than non-refillable glass, generate 85% less solid waste, consume 62% less energy. Plus, it would take 30 trucks to ship 1 million empty 1 liter glass bottles to their factories and just 2 to ship the equivalent in aseptic packaging.
McCain made their choice for the environment.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Ivor, Wynne, and Hamilton. Good night of football for the Tiger Cats and the Texans. Hometowners on top 20-14. Midway through the third quarter. And Hamilton gradually winning the battle for field position. Texans last scrimmaged the ball at the 55, and Oswaldson has kicked the Ticats out of a little trouble. Texans begin now near the 35.
And what a pleasant surprise that is for Don Southern to have Paul Oswaldson, who throughout his career has not been known as a great punter, now to be giving you field position with your punting game. I mean, what a blessing in disguise that is.
Overall, the Texans haven't done too badly. But this time they begin at the 45, and it's Mills. Couldn't hang on. Archer swung it to him coming out of the backfield.
You know, John, one of the things we're going to start to do now in the second half, because it's so apparent why these offenses are struggling, is their first down production is so poor. I mean, there's a drop ball, and all of a sudden now, 2nd and 10. And these are defenses that are very difficult to play against 2nd and 10. Not because of the pressure or anything. It's because they can sit back with 8 people, and they just squeeze down those lanes in the zone. And when you have to constantly 2nd and 10 throw underneath the coverage, I mean, you know, you're asking a lot of your team to have some consistency.
Absolutely. An exchange of offensive linemen here as Stevenson heads to the sidelines. That's Darrell Smith, number 51, coming in to take his spot. 2nd and 10 Texans. Beginning at the 34. Archer, shotgun, looks deep, has a man open. Jump ball, who comes up with it? It's a first down for the Texans as David Gamble out-wrestled Eric Carter for the football. Pretty close play. I'm going to admire Gamble for hanging on to that. Big gain.
That's a heck of a catch by David Gamble. But then again, you know, I think Eric Carter just doesn't really respect the arm of David Archer, how far he can throw it. I mean, he's in pretty good position, but well, I just give Gamble a lot of credit to go back and wrestle that football away.
43-yard gain for Gamble. Couple of starts for these guys in 94. And Eric Carter lost that battle and a 43-yard advantage for the Texans. Here comes David Archer. Mike Saunders running to daylight. He's down to the 20-yard line. Don Robinson up to make the tackle from his right halfback spot.
That's what we expected to see a lot of from San Antonio tonight, was Mike Saunders and more Mike Saunders, and on the ground. I mean, there's what he has done, what they have done as a team, and tonight well below that.
It is another San Antonio first down, this time inside the Hamilton 20. And this time it's Mills. 2 great running backs. Mills down to the 1-yard line. Hassan Bailey finally put the stop on Jim Mills. Mills and Saunders, 2 great running backs. Tough guys to bring down.
That's a pretty serious run here. Watch, bounce to the outside, and Mike O'Shea tries to get over, but he just can't wrap up and make the play. See O'Shea flowing to the football. He's got the eyes going, and there goes Mills all of a sudden. Ducks the shoulders right there. And Mike O'Shea has lost the angle, and Mills with a terrific run gets it down to the 1. Boy, what a luxury to have. You know, you give it to Saunders on one play, and you come back with another 1,200-yard rusher on the next play in Troy Mills.
Nice looking backfield. And Archer is set up at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal to go from there. 5:05 to go in the third quarter. And there's a timeout called. Injured Tiger Cat. Marcus Cotton shaken up. That'll give these guys, Mills and Saunders, a chance to catch their breath after 2 great runs to get the Texans down to the 1-yard line. Looks easy from there, doesn't it, as they talk it over? Coach and quarterback. 3 cracks at it from the 1. When you got backs like that, you got to believe they're going to hit the end zone.
Well, last time when they got down here, they gave it to Mike Saunders from the 6-yard line. He took it in with a good block from Troy Mills out in front.
Right now, a 6-point ball game with the Ticats on top, 20-14. Drive beginning back at the 34.
You know, you talk about first down production on this drive. There was nothing on the first play, and then the next 2 first downs, they got 12 and 20 yards.
From the 1, touchdown, Troy Mills. No markers anywhere on the field as the Texans are back to even with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 2020 convert to come.
Well, only fitting that Troy Mills should get the touchdown here. He took it down to the 1-yard line on that terrific run. And boy, it's just amazing to me, John, to think that Troy Mills was in the Arizona Cardinal camp as early as last Monday. You know, got the bad news that he wasn't going to be playing for them this year, and was able to get to San Antonio and, you know, pick up the system that really obviously hasn't changed much since he left a year ago. But to his credit, boom, I mean, he looks like he's been there since camp.
Dropped one little swing pass coming out of the backfield. But he's had some great runs, including this one from 1 yard away.
Well, the drop, that's physical. That's not mental. The mental aspect of the game tonight, he's got a touchdown. He's got a great block on a Mike Saunders touchdown. So, you know, talk about a guy coming in just a few days and making a tremendous contribution to this offense.
104 yards for the Texans, 9 for the Ticats. Yes, this is San Antonio's best quarter. They have points on the board in it, too. Philbrick is shaken up. Marcus Cotton went out just a couple of plays ago, so they are running out of guys on the D-line. Luke Cafazzo is the only backup listed. We'll sort things out and come back and show you the conference. It's a tie ball game at 2020 at Ivor Wynne.
Hey, you want to know how to protect something? You wrap it up. You want to protect it? You wrap it up. So, you want to protect it? Wrap it up.
CFL 95 comes alive on TSN this summer. Our 45-game schedule is jam-packed with familiar faces. Explosive action is headed your way from the north, south, east, and west. Get down and dirty weekly as the good old boys renew acquaintances. But remember, there's only one place to catch CFL fever this summer. CFL 95 live on TSN, your weekend hotspot.
Texans and the Ticats, a battle to a draw so far. 2020, we await the San Antonio convert after a solid march and a 1-yard touchdown. Michael Philbrick, the latest Ticat, injured.
John, you know, when we talk about and put up a lot of statistics on the screen, I think the one you just saw where Hamilton only has 9 yards in total offense in this quarter, you know, and we showed the other one where this is Hamilton's worst quarter defensively. Well, you know, that's what I said. Sometimes, you know, these statistics don't tell the whole story. Heck, the defense has been out there the whole quarter, and finally they just got worn out a little bit, and that's one of the big reasons. You know, if your offense isn't moving the ball, obviously the amount of pressure it puts on your own defense is enormous.
Texans have a chance to take the lead for the first time in this ball game at Ivor Wynne. Roman Anderson makes it 21-20. Texans on top of the Tiger Cats. And a bit of a sticky night here. Tempers flaring up down there. O'Shea and Buddenberg exchanging words.
And I know what Mike O'Shea's thinking right about now. The worst thing you want to have happen to you as a defense is to have a team dominate you on the ground. And that's what happened on that last scoring drive by San Antonio. They just ran the ball so well, and Mike O'Shea knows he missed a tackle on Troy Mills, so not surprising that on a convert he might want to just take a shot at somebody, get the frustration out, and then get focused for the next series.
You talked about it earlier, the fact that the Ticats were worried about the rushing yardage that these guys would be able to put up. Now, it's not substantial yet, but what they have done is dominate this quarter.
They really have, and a week ago for San Antonio, they were up 30-17 over Calgary, and Kay Stevenson lamented that the reason why we lost the game is we couldn't control the ball on the ground in the second half, and don't think that his team hasn't been thinking about that all week. And so here all of a sudden they come out in the third quarter, they dominate the game on the ground, they take time off the clock, and all of a sudden they got a 1-point lead.
And there they are, 32-20. Those are the guys who've run the football for the Texans tonight. Time of possession is dramatically in favor of San Antonio. Here's Derek Greer. Took a couple of big hits down there. The Ticats will begin at the 22, 10 yards on the return. Scoring drive, 5 plays, 76 yards, time of 3:08, and Mills finished it off, as you saw, with a 1-yard run.
Well, for Steve Taylor, I mean, it's imperative that he gets some first downs here, just if nothing else, to give his defense a bit of a rest. Those are the numbers, but boy, most of those came in the first half. They've been sluggish here in the third quarter, and you look at turning points in the game, and I think this is one for Hamilton right now. They've got to get some production going.
Ticats beginning at the 24 with a first down. Winfield to the near side. Thompson to the far side of the field as Taylor stands in and looks for Earl Winfield. Winfield jostling for it, comes up with a catch at the 45. Frank was covering. He's not happy with Winfield.
Well, he's not happy. There was some hand fighting going down the sidelines, but boy, this is why you take a chance throwing one up for Earl Winfield. Hey, there's no way he has the coverage beaten, but Steve Taylor knows it's that uncanny ability to make the big catch and outfight somebody. And look how Earl positioned himself.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Malcolm Frank had no chance at that ball, although he had perfect coverage.
42 yards for Winfield. He catches the big balls. A 44-yard touchdown earlier in the game.
Pretty good average tonight for Earl Winfield. 33 yards to catch.
Ticats at the 45, first down. Texans on the charge. Nurse couldn't hang on. And it was Frank taking a little bit out of Nurse there after giving up 42 to Winfield.
And they fooled Steve Taylor on the coverage that time. Richard Nurse going out in the flat, and now Malcolm Frank left his man and had the short zone. He comes up and gets the right hand in there to knock it away from Nurse. And the San Antonio defensive secondary does a nice job disguising those coverages. And Frank took a couple of steps back like man-to-man and then jumped up into that flat area.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats at the 45. 4 receivers to the far side, and Taylor looking in that direction. Had a man wide open. Here's Hazard. Yep. He had 2 receivers wide open on the play, Hazard and Larry Thompson. He chose Hazard because he was 5 yards from the end zone.
Well, a couple of good things for Hamilton happen here. Number one, Taylor has all kinds of time. Great protection to finally find a wide open Manny Hazard, and how he was over. Obviously, coverage breakdown. That's the second time that has happened in this game. Thompson would have had one earlier, and now, to Taylor's credit, he finds the open guy. That's Manny Hazard's first touchdown. That's why he's keeping the ball.
Going to save the football from a 45-yard touchdown reception. Osbaldiston. It's the Ticats back in front by 27-21.
You got to love Manny Hazard, and, he was let go by a couple of teams. Toronto let him go, Birmingham let him go, but all I remember about Manny Hazard is in 1993 with the Argonauts, he had 61 catches for over 1,000 yards and 8 big touchdowns, and when you're a receiver like that, And, you know, teams always take a look at that. They look back and they say, look, at one time this guy produced, let's bring him in and see what he can do for us. Well, they brought Manny Hazard in, signed him as a free agent when Birmingham let him go, and he's been nothing short of spectacular with this club and really solidified this receiving corps.
That's his spot, too, inside. He likes to be an inside guy, doesn't he?
Well, you know, in Toronto, when he had the good year, he was playing slot.
Inside, yeah.
He was playing in the inside, and he complements Earl Winfield on that side. You know, you can't double Earl because you got Manny Hazard over there.
What's up in Calgary? How you doing, Ma? Be back in about 3 months. Hey, Brock, good game last week, dude. I need your number, man. You gave me the wrong number. Peace.
Taylor's engineered another quick drive. Faster than Pizza Hut delivery. 3 plays, 87 yards, time of 2:02. Hazard, the 45-yard reception. Osbaldiston's kickoff. Gates in behind David Lucas, and Gates has some yards here out to the 50-yard line. Marcus Gates stopped by Don Robinson, and quickly the Texans are in good field position after a 35-yard return, setting it up for David Archer.
Now let's go back to that touchdown catch of Manny Hazard. There's an important thing to watch here. Now, count the seconds for Steve Taylor. This is normal speed on the snap. How much time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds. I mean, that is unheard of to have protection like that and get the ball into Manny Hazard. So offensive line did a heck of a job there.
1st and 10. This is Mike Saunders. Might have 5 yards out near midfield at the 55, and it's getting a little rough as Hassan Bailey takes after someone down there. Looks like Rob Stevenson. Cotton is in the middle of things, and penalty markers are down.
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, these are 2 teams that are physical football teams, and for Hamilton, the last series, they had the ball shoved down their throats, and they want to get physical
Major
again.
Foul, unnecessary roughness. San Antonio.
I guess Stevenson started it.
The penalty was after the play, 2nd down.
Well, that's killer, too. After the play, I mean, you know, a couple of yards were gained, but now, you know, you lose the down at 2nd down in a whole bunch. So penalties for Kay Stevenson's team have just been enormous in this game.
David Archer looking at 2nd and 25. 101 yards in penalties for the Texans. Here comes the heat on Archer. Small was in pursuit, but a marker is down.
Get down here. Let's get out here. Get down here. Let's go.
Seems hard to win a fight in football, to me.
I haven't seen too many guys get hurt from one.
They got intentional grounding on that, and Small, I thought, might have been called, but wasn't the case.
Well, Jesse Small got the hit on David Archer, and that's what caused the grounding. Archer could feel it. You know, Archer wanted to set up. He wants to set up the screen. Watch Buttonberg try to cut Jesse Small as he comes here. When a guy cuts, when a tackle cuts to the rush end, you know the screen's coming. Boom! They're trying to set up the middle screen, but it's just not there, and then it's freewheeling for Jesse Small. He gets in, and Archer grounds the football, and they get the additional yardage on that penalty. But, you know, somebody up the middle must have grabbed Mike Saunders because Archer had nowhere to go.
There's a punting situation, 3rd and 32. Greer Rogers back. Jordan gets a high kick away. It bounces in front of Greer and right into the arms of a Texan. I think Greer might have touched it.
That's Jeff Sawyer.
That's the way they're ruling it. Yep. Jeff Sawyer, and it bounced right into his hands. They're saying Greer touched the ball.
That's a good move by Jeff Sawyer. You know, when it's that close, you take a chance that it, you know, if you get the no yards call to get the fumble recovery, and, you know, they said Sam Rogers touched it. So for Jeff Sawyer, yeah, you go ahead and don't worry about no yards. Just get that football.
It was a high punt. And maybe we can see here if Greer did in fact touch it.
Well, it sure looks like his hands touched it there. And here comes Jeff Sawyer. There he is right in the middle.
Fans aren't impressed. The Texans are with a first down at the Ticat 40. And here's Troy Mills again. Off the right side, stopped by Hassan Bailey. Texans have been running the ball.
That was funny. The punt was really a knuckleball kind of punt by Jordan, a very difficult one to field rather. And Sam Rogers, you know, he just never got underneath it.
Did he touch it, you think? It's difficult on that replay, isn't it, to tell?
I mean, he's so wide open for the official to make the call. You have to think.
I don't know that it's a bad call or not. It was a close call as Mills takes it again, and he'll have the first down for the Texans. It was pretty darn close. Second turnover of the ball game by the Tiger Cats, setting the Texans up with a chance to get right back to even. It's 27-21. Hamilton in the lead.
Well, let's go back, John. I mean, it's a long way away, but, you know, here's right in the middle. Oh, yeah, I think he touched it.
Yeah, I think on that replay you can tell.
That's Derek Greer. I think I said Sam Rogers earlier when the play happened, but that's Derek Greer, number 20 right there. And I don't think there's any question.
No, on that from that angle, you can tell. And Greer's mate, Sam Rogers, on punt returns. And in the secondary is the injured Ticat being attended to down near the 30-yard line. Ticats have had a lot of injury problems tonight. Kalen Hall was out. Phil Brick out of the ball game for a bit.
Tonight's attendance, 20,520.
20 passing plays, 12 rushing for 32 in the ball game.
Well, we got an injury. I think it's interesting to go back and look at that last running play. And I mean, you know, here's Sean Smith at the top. He's going to take on the block, and, you know, he has a chance to make the tackle. Now, the Ticats were making the tackles in the first half, but all of a sudden, you know, you got Mike Saunders and Troy Mills. They're making people miss. But look, there's Sean Smith right there. He just couldn't get wrapped up, and, you know, the plays they made in the first half, now in the third quarter, they're not making nearly as many.
And it's a fun night at Ivor Wynne one more time. It's been a good season here for Hamilton football fans. They've done a good job resurrecting the franchise. We can fire them up for you and tell you attendance is 20,520.
Well, they've done a nice job in turning this franchise around. You know, a lot of teams, you know, people feel they cry wolf, you know, that, hey, we're in dire straits, but let me tell you, this club was in dire straits. I mean, they were counted down and out.
Yeah, what's worse than dire straits? What's one?
Well, whatever's worse than dire straits, like dead, down and out. That's what they were. But somehow they were resurrected, and the fans have come, and, you know, Ticats have given them some solid entertainment in these home games.
And a great new construction here, getting ready for the Grey Cup in '96. Meantime, Texans have the ball. Archer to the end zone. Not quite. Look for Kittrick Taylor. And Taylor couldn't squeeze it. 5 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown coming into the game.
And the two Ticat corners are really falling into a trap tonight. Derek Greer and Eric Carter. You know, I don't know whether they know how strong Archer's arm in, but they're both gambling and coming underneath when they shouldn't. And Kittrick should have had a touchdown there.
That's the end of the third quarter. The Ticats hanging on to a 6-point lead. Fourth quarter here. They're mourning the Longhorns here already. It might be a little premature, as the Texans are only 6 back of the Tiger Cats. And they were pretty close on the previous play, San Antonio here.
Yeah, I know Derek Greer and Eric Carter are young corners and, you know, haven't been in the league that long. I mean, Carter's been around for 3 years. I mean, they should know by now that David Archer, I think, of any quarterback in the league, has the strongest arm. And, you know, they're gambling and they're taking a lot of unnecessary chances.
2nd and 10 here. Archer with time. Goes for the big toss. Oh, knocked away by Carter. Fralick, the intended receiver, Carter covering. And we talked about the corners, and Carter wins that one.
Yeah, he jumped underneath once again. Now, this is probably the poorest long pass of the night for David Archer. Watch this, kind of slips on him, and it's wobbling up there, doesn't have the velocity, and that allows Carter to get underneath and, almost have the interception. I mean, you gamble and you gamble. He's lost one, and now he's won one against the same receiver, too, Joe Kralik.
So a third down kicking situation for the Texans. Nicely into the fourth quarter. Carter won that battle. Texans look for points here. Roman Anderson will have it spotted at the 35. It's up. And it's good. So San Antonio closes the gap a little bit more. There is a marker down, however. We'll check that out before crediting another 3 points to the Texas side. It's against Hamilton, so we'll wait for the official here from Don Ellis. Options to consider with a rough play penalty, rough play call. (27-21). 14:24 to go in the fourth quarter. And this discussion is taking some time down there as Don Ellis explains it.
You see, you feel the fans are getting restless. The broadcasters tonight are getting restless. Yeah. I mean, come on, guys, sort this thing out and let's get the game going. I mean, this kind of stuff drives everybody crazy.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 98. The field goal scores. Penalties applied on the next scrimmage play, back 15 yards.
Yeah, that was what we would have figured. Mike Campbell.
Well, yeah, but if you're San Antonio, who's going to refuse any of that? I mean, that's all good stuff. You get the field goal, and Hamilton takes the ball and starts further back. I mean, how tough is this? I don't know. Well, you look at things that Hamilton has improved on this year. I don't think there's any question the secondary is a real ball-hawking kind of secondary, and those are the interception numbers for all those players. Coming into tonight's game, they had 14 interceptions, which was third in the league, and last year they led with 32, and I don't think there's any question they're going to surpass that. One of the big reasons, Eric Carter, 5 of them, 1 for a touchdown against Kerwin Bell. He won 102 yards. But San Antonio has won the battle of the turnovers tonight.
27-24 is the score. The field goal does stand. Ticats will begin back at the 20 with the rough play penalty assessed to Mike Campbell. Unnecessary roughness. Thompson to the near side. That means Winfield is flanked to the far side of the field. Ticats to the 5-receiver set. Taylor drops back, finds Nurse, and Richard Nurse is out near the 30. Grabbed by Dave Harper. Numbers through 3 quarters. Penalties a big part of the story with the arrow indicating 101 yards against the Texans.
Well, you look at that, and it's really cost them in some crucial situations, set them back a number of times, like 1st and 15, 1st and 20, and one of the reasons why they haven't had a better offensive night than they've had.
Taylor himself on second and less than a yard. So the Ticats get 1 first down to get the drive moving here.
Well, as a quarterback, Steve Taylor, you're thinking, gosh, we're backed up in our own end after that roughing penalty. We've got to get a couple of first downs. We know Ozzy's kicking the ball well and try and get some first downs to get ourselves some breathing room. But all of a sudden, he has to leave the game now. I think he's got a contact problem.
Taylor down on one knee. That means Calvillo will get his opportunity for a couple of plays here now. And we watched him last week against Shreveport. He was absolutely terrific. AC, they call him, number 13.
That's a chance you take, when your quarterback is on those quarterback sneaks. He's the one that's going to take that shot, and he took a pretty good one on that quarterback sneak.
Numbers on Calvillo so far this season, 1498. Started and won the first 2 games of the year for Hamilton. Has tossed 10 touchdowns versus 9 interceptions. And last week, came into the ball game, hit on 5 of 5 for 117 yards, ran for a touchdown, and passed for a touchdown.
And I think contacts, and Steve Taylor, Dave Harper was coming on the outside. Here's Harper up at the top of the screen, and watch, I mean, he just goes helmet to helmet. Taylor's going to come this way, and, you know, watch the helmets meet. You kind of miss it at the end here, but, you know, one thing Harper's thinking as he pinches down, he's thinking, put as hard a hit on this quarterback as you can. You never know, maybe we're going to get him out of the game or whatever, but I think it's the contact problem. Hit him so hard the contact popped out.
Calvillo comes in. You talked about it earlier, but all three Ticat quarterbacks have engineered a comeback this season. Calvillo last week, Mike Kerrigan.
He did it against Birmingham. And Steve Taylor
in relief of Calvillo a couple of weeks back.
Well, they got a nice combination of young quarterbacks that all do different things. Calvillo's definitely a drop-back reading kind of quarterback. And getting better at reading every week.
He's got a 5-receiver set in on first down. McAdoo gets the call. And he's got 7, maybe 8 yards. Stopped by Leonard Nelson. Taylor did not want to come out of the game, obviously.
Collins and Nelson on the tackle.
There we go. Get the mirror out. Get a little solution. And just pop it in. Nothing to this.
Yeah, Curly, the trainer, Curly's always got that mirror in his back pocket just in case those things happen. They do.
Gain is 7, 2nd and 3. Calvillo looks deep, looking for Thompson. And a penalty flag down. Humphrey covering on Thompson. Calvillo might have got a break here because it was almost like their feet got tangled up. We'll look at it again, but the marker is down.
Bobby Humphrey going to get called, and what a big play this may turn out to be.
Interference.
Here's Bobby Humphrey on the outside.
A 10-yard penalty.
Larry Thompson going deep, and that's one thing that Anthony Calvillo likes to do, and I think they've changed it and brought it back and called it on Thompson. Initially, he signaled that it was Bobby Humphrey, but there you see Thompson in there hand fighting it out. Initially, Don Ellis called it the wrong way.
No, it'll be a first down Ticats.
Oh, they call it, okay, contact.
They just gave,
gotcha.
They didn't give it at the point of contact upfield. It's just a 10-yard penalty, but the Ticats get a first down out of it.
Well, I don't know about that one. After seeing that on the replay, it looked like Thompson was in there.
Calvillo roaring back and firing for Earl Winfield. Malcolm Frank on Earl Winfield.
And that hurt Earl Winfield. As a wide receiver, this is your worst fear. When you go up to catch a football and you're up extended and your feet are off the ground, the DB cuts your legs out. And that was the only way that Frank could maybe break the ball away from him. To Winfield's credit, he hung on. He's going to stay in the game. But, well, I'll tell you, that one hurt.
First down, Tiger Cats. Winfield has 120 yards on 4 receptions. Calvillo keeps the drive alive. Winfield on the sideline toss. And another marker is down. Malcolm Frank nailed again.
Intentional forward pass interference. San Antonio number 10. First down.
This time they're looking at it as intentional.
Well, you be the judge. Have a look here. Like, Frank gets the shot right here. Okay. Now watch. I mean, that's not where the flag is. That's the flag right there. He knocks him out of bounds. Yeah. No question. I mean, you know, you have to have some sort of intent to play the football, and there was no intent there at all. So all of a sudden, penalties. There they go. They're killing San Antonio.
Ticats first down at the 26. Calvillo hit as he threw. And no danger there for the Tiger Cats. That landed in row 1 with Gerhard storming through on Anthony Calvillo.
Now, Calvillo was expecting this. I mean, he's gone to the 3-step drop expecting blitz, because every time San Antonio's been backed up tonight, they've come with extra people, and this situation was no different. Here comes Tom Gerhard totally free, and Calvillo just doesn't have enough time to let it go. But I think they should expect this again on second down. This is what San Antonio has shown them.
Second and 10 at the 26. Calvillo trying to buy a little time. He doesn't run out, and will take off this time or not. Now fires to Manny Hazard. Touchdown. Peter loved it. Hazard has 2. And both of an easy trip to the end zone. He's been wide open.
Well, we talked about Calvillo and the lack of running ability and rushing ability, but boy, does he do a heck of a job here to buy himself some time. Gets by the first guy there, and now, hey, San Antonio's relaxed. They're thinking, run, we've got him, but they leave Manny Hazard wide open coming up to support the run. Defensive mistake cost them another touchdown.
Osbaldiston. Hazard 2 touchdowns tonight. Calvillo connecting on the last, a 26-yard touchdown. The Ticats celebrate a 10-point lead. Number 81, here's a look at number 2.
And boy, will this look show you what happens when a quarterback pressures the line of scrimmage. Here's Bobby Humphrey playing zone up here. Manny Hazard just will end up in this area. Let him run, and we're going to freeze it. You watch Bobby Humphrey, eh? There's Hazard going. Now, he's looking at Calvillo. That's all he's looking at. Okay, freeze it right here. There he is. He's thinking about making a tackle when he should be over here. And once again, Manny Hazard's left wide open. Coverage breakdown. It's an undisciplined zone. Boom. Easy touchdown for Manny Hazard. Hey, there comes Humphrey now, but my goodness, he's about 6 seconds too late. That's what happens when a quarterback pressures the line of scrimmage with his running ability. You don't expect it from Calvillo, though.
Raising the cheer in Tiger Cat Town. David Lucas on the return for the San Antonio Texans. Still on his feet. Here's Lucas out near the 50. Still going. Finally cut from behind, and markers are down near the Ticat 40. Brian McCurdy finally catching up to David Lucas. Don't be surprised, this guy's been a good kick returner in this league and used to run a few back for the Tiger Cats at one time. 68-yard kickoff, 67 on the return.
Boy, San Antonio down by 10 now. Really needs some good things to happen in a hurry. And that was a lot of good things on that run
Major
back.
foul, face mask. Hamilton, number 16, first down.
Yeah, there's another good thing for the Texans right there.
Don Robinson gets the face mask, but what an effort by David Lucas. I mean, he's just gliding now, waiting for things to develop. Boom, there's the hole. Now the burst starts. Here goes the next burst. I mean, that's 2 or 3 bursts on one kickoff return. That's a heck of a return.
Great balance.
If you can see the face, there's 16 Don Robinson to the right of the screen. He's just trying to get in position to make sure Lucas doesn't go all the way. Then he hangs on to that face mask and gets another 15.
With the penalty, the Texans are set up at the Ticat 20. Play action. Archer has a man open. It's Mills. He's down to the 1-yard line. Not quite for the touchdown. Greer got him at the 1-yard line. I noticed some Texan players down there, Leaf, suggesting they had the touchdown, but they marked it out at the 1.
Come on, what a terrific look. Watch the fake to Mike Saunders with the lead block of Mills. Then he just sneaks out in the flat left of your screen. I mean, Mike O'Shea, Sean Smith, they're all frozen. Don Robinson, nobody's close to Troy Mills. What a beautiful play by David Archer. You know, Hamilton's thinking, boy, they're down so close to our goal line after that kick return and penalty. They're going to just bang it in at us, but Archer crosses him up with the play action.
Another Ticat down. We'll sort it out when we return to Ivor Wynne, where the Texans are on the 1-yard line, ready to score.
Our next game is Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday night, it's the Battle of the Rough Riders, Ottawa. In Saskatchewan, it's a 9 o'clock start, Eastern Time. Darren Joseph dancing into the end zone. Boy, Saskatchewan could use a big game from him with 1 win. They really need it. Let's go back to Ivor Wynne.
First and goal to go. Here's Mills. Touchdown. Second from that distance tonight for the Texans. And that quiets things down at Ivor Wynne just a little bit. All set up on a big return, and then Mills getting the Texans down to the 1-yard line for the goal, or for the first and goal situation.
But it's interesting how Troy Mills and Mike Saunders have taken turns leading for each other in the goal line. This time it's Saunders sealing off to the inside as Mills bounces it to the outside. But, you know, those first couple of steps he took up into the line of scrimmage froze everybody, and then, of course, he's got the speed to break it outside. And all of a sudden, what a debut by Mills. Second touchdown, and contributed with some excellent runs. We got ourselves a ball game.
Yeah, we have, and it's been that way all night. Roman Anderson adds the point after.
You know, this crowd was in a frenzy about 5 minutes ago. I mean, you can hear a pin drop in here right now. They can't believe that after that big kickoff return, San Antonio could strike so quickly.
34-31 the score now. 3 points separating the Ticats from the Texans of San Antonio. Troy Mills in his first game of 1995. But I don't think they're going to sit on their hands here in Hamilton tonight for the final 8 minutes and 38 seconds.
I think Kay Stevenson has to be thrilled how his team has battled back. I mean, you know, with the amount of penalties and the crucial penalties that have stalled drives and put the defense in bad positions, they've been able to overcome that, and all of a sudden they're only 3 points behind with 8:38 to go. You know, he's happy with that, but on the other hand, he's got to be disappointed with some of the undisciplined plays that have put his team in trouble.
Thompson and Lane deep for the kickoff. Larry Thompson takes it on the run. Away from a couple now. An opening for Larry Thompson. Good speed. He's up near midfield at about the 53. 2 plays to cover 20 yards at a time of 1:16. Mills into the end zone with his second touchdown of the night. Now the Ticats are set up after a 20-yard return, and Anthony Calvillo comes back.
Well, he finished off the game a week ago against Shreveport, going 5 for 5 and throwing the winning touchdown. Now tonight, you know, he's come in and all of a sudden he's 2 for 3. And another touchdown. I mean, this guy has really made a heck of a contribution to this team.
Calvillo has Lee Knight. He has about 7 yards. Don Southern really likes the fact that he's got a competition at quarterback. And when you look at what Steve Taylor accomplished tonight, he wasn't yanked from this football game if you're just joining us, folks. He had a contact problem. Calvillo came in, engineered a touchdown.
Yeah, there's Taylor. He's okay to come back in, but all of a sudden Southern, you know, it's felt like Calvillo's come in and had a great grasp of, you know, how he can attack that defense. He decided to leave him in there. 2nd and 3 for Calvillo.
He has Richard Nurse. Frank forced him out. 7:36 to play.
Yeah, these are high percentage pass plays too. You got Richard Nurse right here. 2nd and 4, just a quick out. And Calvillo, I mean, you know, what you lose in rushing ability with him as a quarterback, you gain in pure throwing ability. I mean, this guy, when he gets in a rhythm, he can really throw the football. And, you know, he can throw it a lot in the game. He threw 60 passes in one game earlier this year.
Ticats 1st and 10 at the Texan 35. 5 receivers set, and McAdoo gets the call. Markers are down as McAdoo gets near the 33.
Flag on the play.
McAdoo in for Kalen Hall, who was injured in the first half.
Watch it, pull it out of there.
Cut block. Hamilton, number 66. Repeat first down.
Blaine Schmidt singled out there, number 66. And this will be first and a bunch back at the 50-yard line, the line of scrimmage now.
Okay.
19 of 34, almost 300 for Steve Taylor. Threw a couple of touchdowns. One to Winfield, one to Hazard. Now his partner, Anthony Calvillo, faces 1st and 25. Gets Lee Knight. Leonard Nelson to tackle on Knight, number 25.
Tough spot for Anthony Calvillo, 1st and 25. You know, what you want to do is just get a bit back, and, you know, you may not even get the first down, but a good completion to Lee Knight. Now maybe you get 10 more yards and at least try and get the field goal and get something out of this. Head of their average tonight passing. That shows well for Steve Taylor because, I mean, this is the guy that's the real thrower of the two.
Second down, Calvillo. Looking deep for Thompson. No catch. Bobby Humphrey was covering on Larry Thompson. It was close. Humphrey was victimized a time or two tonight. That's the look that you need to see.
Well, you know, had Humphrey not been there with such good coverage and jumped on Thompson's back, you know, he had a chance to make it. But once you got Bobby Humphrey landing on top of you, that's kind of hard to squeeze the football.
Paul Osbaldiston will get another crack at it. He's hit from 49, and that's where it's spotted this time. 47, 49, 49 again for Paul Osbaldiston. Here's the try for his 3rd of the night. Wide this time. It'll sail through for a single.
Osbaldiston's 49-yard field goal attempt is wide to the right. Through the end zone for a single point.
Could be a key point for the Tiger Cats. It's now 35-31.
Stallions, they have taken the lead. At the Liberty Bowl, Carlos Huerta steps up, throws a little chip shot, only a 13-yarder. That'll make it 13-10. By the way, Tracy Ham has had to leave the game due to injury. They don't know the extent at this point in time.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Ready for a great final 5 minutes and 50 seconds in Tiger Town. The Cats on top by 4. Osbaldiston missed the 49-yard field goal, but a 4-point advantage makes San Antonio score 2 field goals or a touchdown to take this one away. Here's David Archer on 1st down. Has Mike Saunders. O'Shea neatly blocked out of the way, and Saunders has a 1st down, forced out by Derek Greer.
David Archer's used to play action nicely tonight, and little fake. Here's Saunders. Now he's just going to sneak out in here, but it's the play action fake by Archer. Watch how it holds 59 in the middle. Mike O'Shea. See O'Shea right there. Boom, he's coming up. Now he gets into coverage, but Saunders able to sneak out, and a good move to get around Sean Smith.
20 yards to gain. This is Saunders on the ground this time. And the Ticats wrestle him back. O'Shea makes up for it. It'll be 2nd down. There's maybe a gain of 1, if that. Here's Mean Michael at his best.
Well, what he's looking, I mean, he's just keying into that backfield, get that flow across and make the play. And boy, he, more than anybody else in that defense, knows the urgency here. You know, San Antonio would love to drive it down on the ground, kill the clock, and get the touchdown. And O'Shea knows that this is good. He can keep him in 2nd and long now with that play.
Texans 2nd and 8 at the Hamilton 46. Archer near side. Rogers covering, and he won the battle with Mark Scott.
That's a tough pattern to cover as an inside halfback. Mark Stock ran the wheel, which is the out and up down the sidelines, but Sam Rogers, boy, just stayed on the inside hip so nicely. I mean, there's no way you're going to complete this ball unless Stock does something spectacular, and Rogers was right there. Time to jump perfectly. I mean, that's like basketball now. You're going up for a rebound. Clear those boards and see who can come up with it. Nobody could.
Archer might have been angry at himself on that from that reaction.
He's thinking if he threw it just a little bit farther, you know, his guy maybe had a chance.
On 3rd down, Roman Anderson is in. He's nailed one from 55. This will be spotted at the 53.5. And he comes up short. Earl Winfield out of the end zone and out near the 20-yard line. Penalty marker down. Mike Kiselak leading the tacklers as Anderson missed that one. This one going against the Tiger Cats. It should be on the return, I believe.
Hamilton, number 98, first down.
It's on the return, so Ticats maintain possession, lose a little field position. .356 to go at Ivor Wynne tonight, a 4-point game with the Cats on top by 4 at 35-31.
Hey, man.
First and 10, Tiger Cats ball on their 9-yard line.
I knew I slid in front of him. Yeah, I eyed him up.
Anthony Calvillo still at the controls. Play action. Looks deep, looking for Winfield. And he was bumped in coverage. The fans hate it. Frank was covering. No marker.
Pretty good call by Calvillo. Play action down from his goal line, and you know, you air it out, and the thinking always is if it's ever picked off, it's just as good as a punt, and you know, you be the judge. I mean, there is contact at the end of this one, but I don't think there's any way he could ever fence. You know, they're great. They think, it's interference, but that's no interference on Malcolm Frank. This is tough though, 2nd and 10. Now you got to be careful. You got to be thinking first and foremost, no turnovers down here.
Just inside the 10. Calvillo had a little trouble with a snap. And a mix-up between Calvillo and Winfield. Maybe just as well that he got it away, got it deep enough, no interception. Call on Ozzie. Kick us out of trouble, guy.
Well, I think that's the big thing. He was thinking, no question, you know, he's thinking no turnover there. Let's just throw it to a nice open spot out there in the field and hope that Paul Balderson can kick us out of trouble. You know, I mean, if they give you the safety, give up the, you know, people say, can you give the safety? Well, then it's a 3-point ball game, and or you know, 2-point ball game, and
a field goal wins it for the other guy,
wins it. So you got to kick it and hope your defense comes up big for you.
Osbaldiston has had a good night. The Ticats are giving up big-time field position here. Out near midfield, though, Ozzie got behind it. This is Lucas. Markers are already down as Lucas explodes toward the end zone. Osbaldiston is there to pin him. He tripped. But there was a marker back. Well back. 42-yard return after the kick. This is coming back, folks.
Holding, San Antonio, number 7. First down.
Jason Wallace, did you see it?
I didn't see it, but a 42-yard punt, 10-yard holding penalty. That's a 52-yard net. I mean, that's pretty good. And once again, penalties just absolutely killing San Antonio.
Wallace the victim that time. Timeout at Ivor Wynne, and we'll continue with a win in Hamilton. Kay Stevenson and the Texans within 4 points. They have the football with 2:43 to go, fourth quarter. Penalties a big part of Stevenson's headaches tonight.
Well, they really have been, and you know, it's not a little wee penalties like an offside here or there. I mean, these have been big ones that have really hurt the team. So you look at San Antonio with 17 penalties. I mean, hey, coming into this game, they only average about 7.2 penalties a game. So you look at the kind of undisciplined night they have had, and you know, this may come back to haunt them.
Ticats have the lead by 4. Texans have the ball at the San Antonio 45. Archer from the shotgun over the middle, and he fired short, intending it for Myron Wise, number 82. McCurdy and Rogers covering on the play are both down. Ticats have had some real injury problems tonight.
You know, David Archer, the paint here on the field on the yard lines
sometimes is really slippery, and I think that's the reason why Archer, you know, he kind of slipped as he set up to throw it. There was no real pressure. You watch it come back, and you watch the line on the paint. I'm not sure if that's the line, but when he steps up to deliver, okay, right here. Now he's going to step up. He's going to step up. Whoa, whoa. He nearly fell down when he tried to throw that thing. That's the paint. You know, I remember when I played here, the paint here, I don't know what maybe it's a latex or an acrylic, I don't know, but it's kind of slippery and Archer, you know.
Slippery stuff.
Yeah, it's
latex or acrylic, whichever one's slippery, that's what they're using.
If any of you guys are painters out there and you know which one's the slippery paint of those two, that's what they have here, and that's why Archer kind of fell down when he was throwing the football.
Numbers on Archer, not quite 50% tonight. He's thrown for 285 yards.
Well,
1-1.
He'd have been over 50% if he hadn't slipped on the paint.
Well, we'll find out. Somebody will call us, let us know.
They used to have the big Tiger Cat at the middle of this field, that yellow and black Tiger Cat they painted on here, and it was really tough. Not only did it give you the good turf burn, you slipped on it when you tried to make a cut. I used to try and set up defensive backs and make a break in wet weather.
Break into the latex.
I'd have them try and, you know, do their back pedal through the paint, and sometimes you'd get them.
Ticats had 2 players injured. This is still Sam Rogers down.
Yeah, Club FW, wish you were here. Thanks, pal. Say hi to Mom.
Hi, Mom. My mom won't be watching. That's okay.
Well, Ticats 2 in a row now.
Out of Hamilton. We'll send you back to Darren for a quick update from CFL Control.
Thanks very much, John. The Stallions were leading by 3. It's turned into a kicking duel as Chris Gardner drills a 34-yarder. It's now 13-13. The Dogs are really hanging tough in this one in the third quarter of play.
Sam Rogers being helped off the field for the second time. That'll bring Greg Lane into the secondary. Sam looks like he's got a bit of a serious problem this time. He was off earlier in the game.
Get 2nd and 10. Hamilton made a bit of an adjustment now. 3-man front, 3-man pass rush, and Greg Lane comes in for Rogers. There you see where 31 Rogers is going to take the hit. His own man gets him.
Yeah, it's actually McCurdy, and McCurdy was down after the collision with his own man, Rogers.
Now Rob Hitchcock, number 42, another safety's in, so they're going with 6 defensive backs and only a 3-man rush.
2nd and 10 for the Texans. It's loud at Ivor Wynne. Archer can't get it away. Jesse Small, number 97, got through and got to David Archer.
Well, this is tough on a team. You know, you only go with a 3-man rush, and here's John Buttenberg, who's had a tough night. Jesse Small, nothing fancy here. Speed rush to the outside. Watch that left arm. He's going to get that rip underneath Buttenberg, and there it is right there. Get a little rip right over the top, and, you know, he beats the double team and gets the sack. I mean, that's unbelievable when you only rush 3 guys. I'll tell you what, if you do that in a 3-man rush, you get to celebrate. That's okay.
2nd of the night for Jesse Small, 3rd for the Tiger Cats. And the Texans have big problems here now. Winfield is back for this one. A long run for a loss of a few. Gamble ran down Earl Winfield. Loss of 9.
I thought I was overdue, JB. Thought I was overdue.
First down, ball on the 25.
I'm tired now. As we finish winning this, we go home and chill.
5 sacks of the season for Jesse Small, and a couple here tonight. 1:59 to go.
Well, you know, this is a good test for Hamilton, min 59, and, you know, if you consider yourself a good team, this is where, you know, you run the clock out and you win the ball game, and let's see how they handle it.
Derek McAdoo. There's 1 first down. Tom Gerhardt the tackle. You see Southern on the sidelines trying to keep calm on the bench.
Well, a lot of players have played well for Hamilton tonight, but how about the job that Derek McAdoo has done coming off the bench to replace Kalen Hall? They lost Hall early in the first half with the concussion, but McAdoo, he's had a touchdown, and now at crunch time, comes up with the big run and gets them a huge first down. Those are good numbers for him.
Out near the 40 at the 39, first down Ticats. McAdoo again. Tougher running this time, but he hangs onto the ball. Has about 3, maybe 4.
As a head coach, this is where you really got to get the thumbs out of the pocket and pop one, because this is gut-wrenching time, and Don Southern knows how much is on the line. 1:29 remaining, and got the 2nd and 6. A lot of things happening here.
Rogers on the cart, headed to the Tiger Cat dressing room. Got a helmet in the back. This is 2nd and 7 for Calvillo. And he's got a first down. Hazard has had a whale of a ball game. He's found a way to get open.
And this is where defensive backs really have to understand the situation. I think Hamilton's secondary does a good job with that, but on this play, Jason Wallace, he's the best cover guy they have, and for some reason he doesn't want to come up and get physical and snug up on Manny Hazard when he's not going deep. They just want to control the football and kill the clock, but Wallace has to play a little smarter than that, I think.
Ticats 26th first down. That's a great story. This is Derek McAdoo pounding his way for 4, well, maybe 3 yards. Numbers on Hazard very impressive. Late 8 for 123 and the 2 touchdowns.
I'm glad to see him have a night like that. I always felt like he was a good receiver, and he just caught up in wrong place, wrong time after the one good season that he had. And now tonight he's showing everybody that this is the real Manny Hazard, and he can make a big contribution to somebody's offense, and he's doing it here in Hamilton.
He was in the Birmingham camp before coming over to join the Tiger Cats.
And he hasn't been 100% healthy. I mean, he's missed 3 games with assorted injuries this year, and it seems like the entire Hamilton receiving corps has had always injury problems. Andrew Griggs out tonight. But Hazard's back. He's healthy and has made an enormous contribution for Don Southern's club.
45 seconds on the clock. The Ticats look at 2nd and 7 here. Calvillo will put it up. Looking deep for Thompson. And it's knocked away. Humphrey got his hands on it with 38 seconds to go.
Don Southern wanted to stretch the defense tonight with the vertical passing game, to go deeper, to loosen up secondaries. And, I think Anthony Calvillo really listened to that conversation, because since he has come in the game, he's really wanted to get the ball deep. Always haven't been the greatest passes, but, he's done the job loosening it up, and he's been able to throw underneath effectively as a result. I think Dieter Brock would be happy with the job his quarterbacks have done tonight.
One man back for the Texans. Osbaldiston standing near his 40. Now they've watched Lucas run by a couple of times, so they'll need good cover on this guy. Osbaldiston. Lucas on the run. Got one. Hassan Bailey. Started to say Lucas with one little move on, but Bailey was there. And so Archer faces 29 seconds on the clock, and he needs to get to the end zone.
And he's going to see a defense that will drop 9 people and only rush 3. And, that's a difficult defense to go over the top with. And he's only got 29 seconds with which to try and get a touchdown to pull this game out.
Talked about the single by Osbaldiston. He missed the field goal at 49. The single is what's keeping the Ticats a little more comfortable at this stage. Texans need a touchdown to win. Archer looked for Stock, and he's nailed. Brian McCurdy was there to break it up. Hitchcock is in there too. They're running a little shy on defensive backs.
Well, they're playing a 6 defensive back system, and McCurdy and Hitchcock are just helping over the top. And, you know, when the ball's in the air that long, they just flow to it. Crowded Ivor Wynne, all 20,000, can kind of sense a pretty solid victory for their club.
23 seconds on the clock. Ticats hanging on by 4. Archer stands up, tipped away. Michael O'Shea diving across, tipped it away from Joe Kralik. One last chance for the Texans. It's 3rd and 10. What was that signal? Hail Mary? Chance for San Antonio. And they keep it alive with 9 seconds on the clock. So it'll be a first down, Texans. Lots of injuries here tonight. This has slowed the game down a little bit. We're past 3 hours. 9 seconds unofficially on the clock. First down. David Archer has to get to the end zone. He trails by 4. McCurdy got a hand on it. One last chance with 4 seconds to go. Despite the fact that time has all been run out on the Texans, the Ticats are really making this rather interesting, these final few seconds here, with bodies flying all over the place.
Here you go. Like, here's Brian McCurdy, here's Hitchcock, and here's Carter.
Distance company.
Oh, yeah.
They took the lead